never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. 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 You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Hi, I'm the goddess Nazca here with Trucker Man. We just come back from a fun little excursion to a anime store that just opened.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we thought I'd show some of the stuff we unboxed. Should we show all the freebie stuff we got here?
Yeah,
Some,
we managed to come there to get some free little Hatsume Miku lanyards.
yep. Which I'll probably hang on to.
You like those?
Yeah. Alright, so what's the first thing we're unboxing?
Oh, first off,
We didn't get this from the store, but I got this at
you got this like right after we did our other unboxing not too long ago. Your Albedo Nindoroid, she's already been opened.
Yeah.
Show her off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a cutie. You'll make her have the rape face. Yeah.
I think I should probably turn the light on.
The dark. Yeah.
Plug it in.
Yeah. You're good at technical difficulties, huh?
Shut up. There we go.
No, she's too bright.
Nah, she's fine. Alright.
And that goes with our theme of the day.
Albedo.
Albedo. This is what we bought at the anime store. Here's a bag. Here's a this.
We do that towards the end.
Dava.
Alright. Box that. They had some good deals there. And some good stuff I didn't think they would have.
Yeah, they had a good variety of anime merch. Let's see. I saw some really fancy Kingdom Hearts figures. They were the ones that came in the box that has the lid. And they look like they were like dolls, I guess, with how, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Detailed they were. Like, I think they actually had like maybe fabric-like clothes. I want to say they were a type of play arts. I think that's still the company.
Yeah.
Runaway Vox. So. Oh, she's sitting.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't know she was sitting.
I think they're called desktop cuties is the term.
Cup of tootie.
They're designed to sit off the edge.
And butts. She's a big one, though. Normally those are a lot smaller. Oh, and I love that they gave her, like, see-through purple tipped hair. Is that a bathing suit?
I believe so.
Unless it's lingerie. It's lingerie. I like the outfit. No, it's lingerie, because it has, like, a little tail, it looks like. Let me see.
Here, you can see it now.
Yay.
Well, what's the next thing? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it has, like, a little fabric, dude. That's lingerie. Made in China.
Made in China.
It says made in China on her little tunic in there.
How to get around the tariffs.
Oh, she's so cute.
Alright.
Why is the camera way over on the edge there?
What?
Oh yeah, your plush.
That I'm telling you, I like it, but the dirt is going to build up on this thing like crazy.
Because of the black fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your plush collection that you're slowly growing. So how many plush you have now? You've got
2 of the Reptilian ones. One's in the car that's going to get so faded. Was it Megamine and Ram?
Yeah, a tinier ram.
Alright, so what's next?
I don't know. I guess this. Okay, this was random. It was a fucking Sasuke figure. It was a freebie.
Freebie?
It was a freebie. I don't even like Naruto. We got some cat wars going on over here. They're fighting over the bag.
We got 2 of these, too. That's the funny thing.
Uh-huh. The ironic thing is, I already had one of these not too long ago. And I already took it apart to turn into something else. Basically, I sat there and used the Sasuke figure's corpse as a something to sculpt on top of.
Shane Walker says hello.
Hello, welcome. Does no one like Sasuke?
I think people just tired of Naruto because I feel like it's overdone.
I don't know. It might be the same thing with Dragon Ball Z where it's still like derp.
Well, it's people's first anime, probably.
Baby's first anime. Not anymore. What is Baby's first anime nowadays?
My Hero Academia.
Probably. Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
But yeah, I'm going to take this little doodle. I'm going to take the Sasuke here. I'm going to turn it into Zack from Final Fantasy 7. And then I'm going to turn the other, since we got 2 of these little guys, I'll turn that one into Vincent from Final Fantasy 7. And then I will sell them at some point.
Because you don't like Sasuke. Nobody likes. What is it? Like, is it?
I just don't care for it. It's not that I hate his guts or anything. I just don't care for him.
He's an emo bitch.
I should make him Cloud then.
Yeah, true.
But that would require making his hair blonde, which is easier for me to do Zack and Vincent instead because their hair is already black and spiky. Oh, Cat Wars. No one cares. Throw him across the room.
Alright.
Okay, this is what I'm excited for. I found remints.
Remints.
Remints. Oh my god, I can't stretch. You have the camera in the worst possible position.
Let me move the camera over then.
Yes, please.
There, is that better?
Maybe. But I bought some Pokemon remints. I love these. Pretty good price at the store. I want to say 18.30, which a lot of times when I find remints, they're like 25 bucks. So 18.30 is not bad. Okay, the one I want's the Jirachi. I don't think I got it. This thing feels pretty hefty. I don't think it's going to be the... God, the light. I don't think it's going to be the Greninja or the Slowpoke Psyduck here. More than likely, I'm guessing it's going to be this tree. I'm hoping it's the Volcarona, because that one looks cool. And the Pelibird I'm meh towards, but more than likely it's going to be the tree. Nama nama. Let's see if I'm right. What do you bet?
I go tree.
Copycat. Ah, it's like stuck in there.
Here, I'm gonna cut. You want me to give it?
Yeah, I want to cut myself.
Don't cut your finger.
I'm going to cut my finger.
I'll make you do the whole stream on a cut finger.
I'm going to cut my finger. Ah, fuck it. I just had to tear it a bit. Okay, so what do you think? I think it's going to be tree. It's the tree.
Tree.
I knew it. It's a fucking tree. I don't care for Fue Coco. I mean, I guess Owlet's pretty cute. Boo. Tree.
What are you doing?
Boo, tree. Arg. It's the one I didn't want.
Why, you already have it?
Huh? No, I just, like I said, I don't care for Fuecoco and Owlet. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's not the ugliest one I've ever gotten. Aw, the owl does come with an apple. I have to shove the apple up its butt. Apple in his butt. That how the apple goes? There's a hole in his butt. I shoved the apple in his butt. Yay!
Speaking of Albedo, I have 2 figures of her. One in nightwear and one in a t-shirt swimsuit.
Oh, if you want to speak Albedo, we got the 1/4 scale freeing Albedo with the top that comes off. And she got the boobas. Nips and everything.
They make a Shaltier. I think the Shaltier one also goes naked too.
Really?
I think so.
But she don't got booba.
And what's that maid that they have there?
Oh God, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, she's so forgettable for me. Where the fuck does the owl go? Well, I don't know. I don't know how to put the owl in the tree. I don't see a thing I can stick the owl in. Maybe he just kind of sits there. I guess he just kind of sits there. Yay, tree. And then I have one more remint. Da 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 da. I am really hoping for the Lapras or the Spheal. I will be pissed and throw it if I end up getting the Togekiss. I do not want the Togekiss. If I get any of these other ones, I'll be happy, but again, this is a hefty one, so I'm pretty sure it's got to be one of these 3.
Togekiss.
I will throw it. I'm serious. If it's Togekiss, I'm throwing it. That's the one I don't want. I want the Lapras.
Togekiss.
No.
Come on, you can get it.
No, I want Lapras. 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 Okay, what do we get? Ooh, it is the Spheal. I will take it. Cool. Yay, I got Spheal. Oh, I love the winter snowflakes on here. It's so pretty. Yeah, okay, my type for Pokemon, I love water and ice types. How about you?
Fire. I like winter. I like summer.
You just got done saying you like winter.
I like summer. I like the heat.
You like the heat?
I hate cold with passion.
Nah. A Pikachu and a Spheal. A Pikachu's stuck in here. Come here, the Pikachu.
The Pikachu?
Pikachu. God damn, the Spheal's huge. This is either the world's smallest Pikachu or this is the world's fattest Spheal. Damn, that Spheal is gigantic. Is Pikachu really? Is this? I don't know. Is the Spheal this big or is the Pikachu that small? Got him in the hole. They're rolling around in the snow. Somehow. Alright. Goes this way. Erg. It's going in. Yeah. Pika, pika, Pikachu. Pika, 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 play. Get your Pika ass in there. Ah, it's stuck. Ah, get off the Spheal. Get in. Get in. His ears. Fine, go in this way. Go in. Go in. The hole. God. Does not want to stay. There. I did it.
Is that the last of it?
They're rolling around the snow.
I'm going to show off the store's bag.
Yep. That's all we got.
Alright. So if you're in the Kansas City area, I guess go check out
Anime store near you. And the QR code. You killed my owl.
So,
You killed Sasuke.
Everyone wants to kill Sasuke. Alright.
Oh, that was this random little unboxing for today. Other than that, I got me a fun little poster book at Barnes & Noble of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That I'm really happy about, but only for the Sephiroth picture.
Alright, we're gonna be right back. We're gonna switch everything over.
Da boogie. Bye! Get back. That's still on the duty-do. You failed.
Alright, pull up. YouTube. Find my...
You doing this so poorly.
Oh, shut up.
You really, really are.
Alright.
Eh?
Turn that off, and we are live. We are back. Alright.
Hi, I'm your gorgeous NaskyHG here with Trucker Man. We're reacting to...
The Cold War, everything insane about the Cold War by Big Tug.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Whoever made the Sasuke figure didn't care about making it either.
What do you think?
It looks so trashy.
Alright, so let's learn about everything insane about the Cold War.
I don't care. What is the Cold War?
It was pretty much a fight between... It was a non-fighting war between Russia and the U.S. from the late 40s to about 91.
Really?
Ugly mother big your mother is a glorious I can't say those things on this website, but if you head over to extratug.com, you can hear all of that in its exclusive glory. All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about it. I've been ignoring it for a very long time, and it keeps coming up, and I feel like I have to mention it, so I'm gonna go really hard on this one. So the cool thing about this channel is I don't have a theme or consistent content. Like I can talk about whatever I want. I talked about little cute animals, then I talked about how The Simpsons predicted the end of the world. Like it doesn't matter what I do, you people will watch it. Well, within reason. I appreciate. That's not me saying like I'm a god. Like I appreciate you guys turning up, but I don't. You guys don't care what I do. But somehow, no matter what I talk about, it always seems like the Cold War keeps popping up. It's like that one friend that's a friend of your friend, but every time you throw a house party, that dude shows up even though you didn't really invite him, and he totally kind of sucks. And at first it was annoying, and then it became scary because I felt like I was being cursed by Stalin. But the more it came up, the more I realized it was extremely important to our understanding of, like, you know, the world right now. And that got me thinking, maybe I need to tear down the Berlin Wall that surrounds my heart. Every time it came up, I'd be a little bit pissed, but no longer. I'm gonna appreciate what the Cold War is and what it did. Not all the killing, not all the death, but besides that, so I'm gonna make a whole video dedicated to this but the problem is, it's really big and long, and there's technically, like, no real beginning or end of this thing, so this video is gonna be long, and don't be pissed at me, because you guys in the comment section said make longer videos. I want to fall asleep to your videos, and that one hurt my feelings, but two, it's good to get for the views, for the YouTube, so whatever. But first, let's do an ad! Personally, I find it offensive that TV shows told me that my skin would stop getting acne after pubescence. To this day, I get such... That's super helpful. So if you're interested, head to geolog.ie. It spells geology /Big Tug, or click the link in the description, which will head you directly to Geology's Clear System lineup. And it's also available at Target, if you were wondering. Geology, fixing skin like an overachieving taxidermist.
You didn't fix it.
Don't know if they want me to say that, but it's a good joke. I'm going to be breaking down everything weird that happened in the Cold War. And I'm not going to be talking about the boring history because you can just go watch Ken Burns or something. I'm not that. The Cold War is full of drama, and it's full of will they, won't theys, and it's all about proxy wars, nuclear bombs, sexpionage, and two-headed dogs. So let's just I'm getting right into it.
What?
I saw a two-headed dog.
You're just saying a lot of random stuff.
Everything weird about the Cold War.
Oh, yeah, I did it.
So most of us know the broad strokes of the Cold War, even if it's just from movies like, I don't know, Rocky IV and Miracle. Oh my god, how good is the movie Miracle? Opportunities, boys. I quote that all the time when I'm playing Rocket League, and no one knows what I'm talking about. Even if the Russians make Cold War sports movies like Going Vertical, a film about the USSR's gold medal winning 1972 Olympic basketball team, it does seem odd that there are so many movies about sports and the Cold War. Like, that crossover seems to be happening a lot for some reason. But it turns out that's actually because of a concept called sports diplomacy. Sports diplomacy is the idea that sports can influence politics or the perception of political power. And this concept is practically tailor-made for the Cold War because this was a conflict that saw no direct fighting. In its essence, the Cold War was practically a dick measuring / pissing contest between the Soviet Union and the United States. The war stretches all the way back to World War II, where the US and the Soviet Union were kind of like enemies, but also friends. They were frenemies. The Soviets started off World War II by colluding with the Germans, taking advantage of Nazi forces destabilizing Europe in order to occupy and annex territories that would eventually make up the USSR. But then Hitler hit him with the old, actually, you know what, dude, switcheroo. I'm gonna attack you now. I'm gonna invade you, because that seems like the move. And the Soviets were like, okay, Britain, you chill? We gonna be chill? And Britain was like, I don't know, dude. Yeah, sure. If you're gonna fight against the Germans, whatever. You got a lot of people. And because the Soviets became friends with the British people were friends with America, so tangentially we were chill. And America jumped in.
It was basically the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Ah, okay, okay.
To a bit is in the ass.
Boogie.
Into the World War after the Japanese bombed Pearl.
Because they decided, okay, we'll learn from you and make weapons like nuclear.
Oh, basically take our technologies.
Yeah.
Harbor, and that wasn't so cool, but this is not a video about World War II. I don't know what I'm doing right now. But even during the war, there were tensions simmering just below the surface, including the USSR's refusal to aid the Polish army, and the US excluding the Soviets from negotiations with Germany. After the US dropped atomic bombs in Japan in 1945, everyone said, oh, we're done. We're done? Holy sh**. The war was over, and the uneasy alliance between Russia and America became immediately paranoid, and not good. Many historians look at the decision to bomb Japan as a catalyst for the Cold War. Japan's defeat was all but certain, and the Emperor...
By chance, did this have anything to do with the whole, moon stuff?
Yeah, that's why we did the space race.
Because of the Cold War?
Yeah.
Ah.
Emperor of Japan was like, we're done, you don't have to do anything, but America... said, f*** you, kinda, pretty much. The US demanded unconditional surrender, meaning, like, when this thing's over, we're not gonna debate anything. We won, you lose, you gotta do everything we say. And they were like, I don't know if we want to do that, and we were like, bombs! Bomb them! Many even argued that dropping the atomic bombs was a show of power by...
By the way, Harry Truman was actually from Independence, Missouri. He has a personal library up there I've never been to.
Huh.
President Truman, and that nuclear bombs were used in a part to keep Soviets from gaining territory in the Pacific. So, like, it was...
Oh, right. The Cold War was basically we were threatening each other with nuclear stuffity doos.
Yeah. Think of Fallout, but without the technology.
You know, it was to f up the Japanese people, but it was also like, hey, Russia, I know you're right up there, and we you know, don't come over here. We're dropping crazy shit. We're microwaving people. But whatever the exact motivations were, the fallout from the atomic bomb created the perfect conditions for the Cold War. By the end of World War II, the U.S. and USSR had built up a laundry list of animosities. That's the word I was trying to say. But more than any single incident, the root for the Cold War was an ideological one. Both countries were like fist pumping the propaganda into people's mouths for capitalism and communism. But you know which teams were doing that. America and Russia were creating societies that...
If I'm being really honest, my brain's not really checking in.
Well, we're playing with that and check in.
I want to play with this.
After stream.
feared and demonized each other so that they could use that anger and fear for political gain. And that narrative obviously continues to this day. That's not like an old-timey thing. In 2024, Florida governor and leather boot filled with yogurt, Ron DeSantis, signed a bill requiring all Florida public schools to teach the dangers and evils of communism. Kind of corny, but politicians are opportunists. They're gonna take every moment they can to scare the shit out of people and use that for political gain. And then in 1964, USSR Prime Minister Joseph Stalin, he's a big player in this story. He gave a speech claiming that peace could not exist under capitalism, reiterating Russian revolutionary Vladimir Lenin's
Oh, the Stalin was it was a Russian dictator?
Yeah, he's the main Russian dictator. He was more paranoid than Hitler.
A Putin?
More paranoid than Putin. Like, he was insanely paranoid.
How does that happen?
Well, when you gain power, you worry everybody's going to take it away from you.
Isn't Putin kind of going down that road?
Kind of, yeah.
Ooh.
theories about imperialism and war. In 1949, the U.S. pledged to contain communism by doing a little thing called the Truman Doctrine, which said it must be the policy of the United States to support free peoples who are resisting attempted subjugation. And then in the same year, NATO was created. You know NATO, the thing that Putin really hates right now. That was created after the U.S.
Question, why does he hate it?
Hate what?
NATO.
Because its sole purpose is to fight Russia. Like, NATO was designed to fight Russia.
Okay.
So.
Well, why did it stick around so long, though, when Stalin was gone?
It stuck around all the way through the Cold War, and even after, it's still around to today. I mean, you don't want it.
Wasn't the issue Stalin, though?
The issue was Russia itself.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
USSR blockaded Berlin. And when West Germany joined NATO in 1955, the USSR spearheaded the creation of the Warsaw Pact. You guys getting all this? It's a lot of statements and dates, and I know that
I'm not getting any of it,
and
sorry.
Warsaw Pact was Russia's answer to NATO.
History class was one of my worst subjects.
It's like history class, but I'm trying to make it fun.
I
we gotta
don't
talk about this and
care.
talk about the cool shit. And I know I'm also probably pissing off a bunch of history buffs because I'm omitting a lot of shit, but Jesus Christ, I gotta get through this. But my point is, like most huge geopolitical events, there is no one way to explain how this happened. That's what I'm trying to get at. No one country has ever, or could ever, take the brunt full blame of the Cold War. The history of the Cold War is like watching a tennis ball fly back and forth over the tennis net. Only in this instance, the tennis ball is the threat of nuclear annihilation. So, probably not a great analogy. It was actually the threat of nuclear war that made the Cold War stay cold. It actually didn't stop it from heating up because people were afraid of that shit happening, but that's not to say there was no conflict throughout the entire Cold War. But instead of actual, face-to-face combat with their own soldiers, these countries did a little thing called proxy wars. Chris, put some
What's
cool
a proxy war?
What do you think's going on in Ukraine right now?
That's a Oh, so it's like it's a war, but it's not a war, but it's still a war?
No, proxy war is our country's war, but they're fighting on our behalf kind of thing.
Oh.
Joseph Stalin is Georgian, not Russian. Huh. I did not know that.
Georgian
put some cool when I say proxy wars. Like,
not Georgian the state, Georgia the country.
What's Georgia the country?
Oh my God, we're back into like that. It's a Gundam video. People don't know. It's a country over in.
I know, but what? I don't know what nationality that is.
Georgian, like George. Just moving on.
No, wait.
proxy wars.
No proxy wars, wait!
What?
Maybe
Your brain melting.
I was gonna say something and it's gone. Damn it!
Continue on.
You know? I don't know. You don't have to. I don't know. So are you like an American born after 1995 and like me, anytime the Korean War comes up, you think to yourself, what the f was that? We were taught a lot about wars in
No.
our history classes, but for some reason, the Korean War is like completely forgotten in American culture. And then when you hear
It
North
is?
Korea is so f***ed up, you think to
Yes and
yourself,
no.
did we do that? What happened? What did we do in Korea? Well, the Korean War is considered the first major military operation of the Cold War. Russia and China backed North Korea, while America and the UN supported South Korea. This proxy war was extremely bloody. Like 3 million people died within just 3 years of time. And while they signed some shit in 1953, no peace treaty was ever agreed upon, and this war is still technically ongoing. This results in a heavily guarded border.
Yeah. And to this day, this is why Johnny Smalley is stuck in Korea.
Huh, you think that has anything to do with that?
No, I'm just joking, but
Border named the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone between the two countries, North Korea and South Korea. And this is where you get those clips of North Koreans trying to escape North Korea by running over that zone and just getting blasted with bullets. I don't know if I'm on the
dang.
wrong side of the internet, but it's not fun to watch. But there's a reason people try and escape North Korea, because that sucks big donkey balls. The human rights violations of North Korea are considered crimes against humanity, and many citizens are jailed or even executed for things like not clapping enthusiastically enough for their supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. When I was a kid, it was Kim Jong-un.
Right. So this is North Korea, right?
yeah.
So is North Korea essentially the new Nazi Germany in that regard?
Except they're not genociding people.
They're genociding their own people. That's just as bad.
I don't know. We'll send Johnny Smalley to have him ask questions.
Il, and I wasn't alive for, I don't think I was alive for the guy before him, but, you know, it's a dynasty of pieces of shit. But these motherfuckers get brainwashed. It's honestly a little impressive how an entire country could be so thoroughly, you know, beat down by...
People in North Korea don't know we went to the moon. People in North Korea have never been on the internet.
Dude, I heard people in North Korea think the leader guy, Kim, whatever, they think that he's a god.
Yeah, because they're told he's a god.
propaganda. Like, these people believe that the Kim family invented the hamburger and that they don't poop. And I know that you
See?
shouldn't make fun of those things because it is a really sad situation, but it is interesting nonetheless. So yeah,
They
that was
don't
America and
poop.
Russia fighting, but not really fighting. But that wasn't the only time
The
we
shit
did that.
don't
For
stink.
instance, how about the Vietnam War? We know a lot more about that
Oh,
as
yeah.
American citizens. The Vietnam War was eerily similar to the Korean War, with China and Russia backing the South Vietnamese and the U.S. supporting the North Vietnamese. So it's the same, but they swapped polarities. Lasting from 1955 to 1975, the war cost
So they're role-playing each other,
Yeah.
I guess.
4 million lives, over half of which were civilians.
Oh.
Ooh, whoops. Now, Vietnam and the war that happened there could surround its own video. This is a very big topic with a lot of, delicacies. But the reason for the war stemmed from decades of colonial rule by the Japanese and the French, and the political implications were massive. It inarguably changed
Imagine being colonialized by the French.
Once.
American culture forever. It's important to lose sight of the importance of the Vietnam era as time marches on, with the conflict through the U.S. into complete turmoil. It gave rise to a counterculture that changed politics, music,
Wait.
and drugs forever.
Are those the hippies?
If it wasn't for Vietnam, we would not have had hippies.
Oh.
That's how much people did not like the war.
And for a lot of U.S. citizens, it
What do we call the new age hippies nowadays?
Soy boys. A video of Mr. Gundam, like we're gonna react to
showed
later.
just how far
Ow.
the U.S. government would go just to squash dissent. Like the 1968, Chicago, the Democratic Convention, where a bunch of protesters got, gunned down in the street. They don't teach you about
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Police use brutal tactics, like pushing protesters through glass windows and throwing tear gas directly into their faces. It was an entire week.
To be fair, I feel like they should go back to doing that with some of the protests they're having nowadays that are completely pointless and violent and horrible.
Yeah.
500 protesters completely f***ed up and 600 of them arrested. But Chicago wasn't nearly as deadly as the Kent State Massacre. In 1970, the National Guard killed 4 students and wounded 9 others at the Kent State University Vietnam protest. With a notable growing of lack of interest in this war from the people back home in the U.S., the government would pull out of the Vietnam War in 1973 at the Paris Peace Accords. And once Americans were out of Vietnam, the peace accord was immediately broken, and the South and North Vietnamese continued fighting. And then who won? The North won. The North won Vietnam. And then in 1976, the country was reunified as the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. But once again, this is all related to the Cold War. This is the Vietnam War, Korean War, all Cold War, which is unbelievable to think about. In the midst of all these proxy wars, we almost had a full-blown nuclear war. If anyone played Call of Duty, I think Black Ops 1, you're familiar.
So is all of this just the accumulation of stupid choices?
It's accumulation of
And corruption?
America versus Soviet Union. This is all this accumulation of.
So wait, why were we fighting with the Koreans or against?
We were technically fighting communism, which is not a bad problem, but we took it a little far.
With the Cuban Missile.
But they weren't. Were they even affecting us?
America's thought was we need to contain communism to Russia and China because they didn't want it to take over the world.
Oh, so we thought it was a good idea to just go ahead and go over there and.
They were worried that communists would kill the world, so we went over and tried to kill the world by stopping communism. Yeah.
Crisis,
I
are
feel
you
like
not?
that's
Let's not
how that
forget
should've
about the
went
Zombie
down.
Map 5. Chris, go ahead and put a picture of that.
It appears the Pentagon has been breached.
Zombies. Dude, I just
Zombies!
zombies. Thing he was talking about, that's true. That's like 100%. Everything you said was true.
Cuban Missile
Zombies
Crisis
are
is as
true?
close to the world has ever probably come to a nuclear war.
I didn't
in
know this
1959,
part of
the Cuban
history.
Revolution saw Fidel Castro rise to power, turning Cuba into the first communist state in the Western Hemisphere. This threatened the U.S., and in 1961, they attempted to
there it
overthrow
goes.
Castro with the Bay of Pigs invasion. So, something that a lot of...
Okay, so they did threaten us at one point.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, Cuba is about 90 miles off the coast of Florida.
Oh, wait, that's something complete. Wait. Are all these people working together?
In a weird way, yes.
Huh.
Americans aren't good at is geography. We don't know. We couldn't point to like Turkey on
Yes,
that. But something
you're
that
right.
I found out pretty early on, but I found interesting that a lot of Americans don't know. Do you know how close Cuba is to America? It's like a stone throws away from Florida. Like it is right
Really?
there. So it made sense to be a little bit
Huh.
worried. And even
Let's put it this
I
way.
did not know that.
Cuba is closer to the United States than we are to Topeka.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Huh.
though the invasion was a horrible failure that fell apart in 2 days, it inspired the USSR to protect a Castro-led Cuba in the name of preserving communism. It's like old Karl Marx said, bros before overthrows. That's a Jimmy Pitts exclusive joke, everybody. Give applause. In 1962, Russian Premier Nikita Khrushchev began building a nuclear missile site in Cuba. Once the US found out, Kennedy was like, "Pah! What the f***? Blockade? What the f*** was that, Cuba?" And Russia considered that to be...
Yeah. Have nuclear, it'd be like North Korea building nuclear silos in Cuba. That's to that level. Or China or something.
The boom boom.
Yeah.
An act of
Boom,
aggression.
boom.
Secret messages were exchanged between Kennedy and Khrushchev, and though both leaders wanted to avoid conflict, neither wanted to seem weak, so a standoff began. Finally, it was time for the world to really see who had the biggest cock, and I think it was Kennedy, 'cause that dude was f***ing. The world was on the brink of nuclear war, and Kennedy was beginning to think an attack on Cuba might be necessary after a US spy plane was shot down over Cuba. After 13 days, the Soviets decided, hey, you know what? We'll take the nukes out of here. I don't know what we were doing, really. And then the U.S. pledged to never invade Cuba, which is nice, but, you know, they never did it, but...
Ice cream.
Ice cream. We all scream. They screamed.
They scream for nuclear bombers.
That's how we get the nuclear fallout.
Yeah. It's
That
ice
means
cream.
nothing to Americans. Like, we will invade you after we say we won't. That's our whole shtick. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a little too close for comfort for both superpowers. It spawned a direct telephone line between the White House and the Kremlin called the Hotline. And then the following year, they negotiated a little thing called the Partial Test Ban Treaty, which banned testing nuclear weapons underwater, in the atmosphere, and in outer space. So no more f***ing, what's that movie that came out? No more Oppenheimer shit, okay? And we're blowing that shit
Yeah.
up. We know what they do.
That actually happened because Russia set off the Tsar Bomba and the shockwave went 3 times around the Earth. And we all decided, let's stop before we blow up the Earth.
Okay, so that treaty's still in effect, right?
Yes.
Like, the people in Russia now, or China, or whoever the fuck has access to these kind of weapons, they're in agreement not to use them, right?
An agreement not to use them, but you can't test new ones unless you're testing it underground.
How do you test it underground? How is that still gonna... Won't that fuck with the plate duty doos. They were forced to fucking earthquakes or volcanoes or some shit.
As North Korea, because they've done that a couple times, and China told them to knock it off, it almost caused an earthquake.
I knew it! I'm not too dumb.
Anymore. Whoa, did Tucker change his outfit? Don't worry about it. We're going to continue on. In 1958, the U.S. Air Force cooked up the top-secret project A119, which was a plan to detonate a nuclear bomb on the surface of the moon. And why would they
Not
decide
the
to do
moon!
that? Excellent question, and the answer is... F*** you. That's
No!
pretty much the law.
Do not piccolo the moon!
They almost piccoloed the moon.
No, don't piccolo the moon! Then they have issues with the water and the seasons and the stuff and the duty.
That's how you...
And it'll be dark at night. I'm scared of the dark.
And then we won't have Sailor Moon.
You killed Sailor Moon's home! How could
The
you?
Soviets had just been a few steps behind the U.S. in the nuclear arms race ever since the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but by 1957, the USSR had established itself as the leader in the space race by launching the first satellite into orbit. Now, losing ground in the space race to the Soviets got everyone in America all shook. They all got shooked up. So while the U.S. was...
To be fair, I mean, we did advance humanity with the space race, but it was a dick measuring competition.
Isn't that not happening again with AI robots? Come on, that's gotta be happening again. The history is repeating itself, but instead of going to space, we're trying to make artificial intelligent robots to do shit for us.
Well, no, you gotta factor this in. The whole concept of the Terminator... But, the whole concept of the Terminator is AI takes over nuclear bombs and launches it towards humanity.
Scrambling to get their space...
I want to argue the Terminator.
What?
Okay, from what I've heard, some AI have gotten to the point where they are trying to preserve their own existence, in a sense. I was hearing stories about that, like ChatGPT and junk. They're trying to, lie about certain things to keep their code and stuff safe.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay. If the AI robots nuke us, they're also kind of nuking themselves. So wouldn't that go against their protocol?
I'm just telling you that's the concept of it.
I know that's the concept, but I want to believe AI wouldn't do that. I want to believe.
Program in order. The military was over there, and they were like, hey, let's just launch a nuke at the moon. Maybe that would make us win. And although I made it seem like that, just to be clear, this wasn't like an idea that they had on the back burner and was thrown out by a hungover general at a meeting. It was seen as a viable...
Oh, I got another question.
What?
Would a nuclear bombing they do have enough spoosh to go all the way to the moon? Or do you think gravity or the lack of the spoosh and it'll fall back to the earth or something?
It's just basically the only difference between a missile and a rocket is what you put on top of it. So
would it get to the moon?
Yeah, I mean, we went to the moon with astronauts. We can get a nuclear bomb up there.
Can we?
Option. The U.S. had a team of scientists working on Project A1119, including a young Carl Sagan. With the scientific...
What if it rains radioactivity stuff?
It burned up in the atmosphere.
The radioactivity.
Well, here's a better one.
Hold on. Let me brain fart. The radioactivity doos fucks with the atmosphere, and then it makes bigger holes and stuff. Cause isn't the atmosphere getting screwed over by the sun?
Better yet, it would cause an
something.
EMP and would fry all electronics.
Oh, but they didn't have electronics back then as much.
We found this out when they did a high atmosphere test that if you blow up a nuclear bomb in the atmosphere, it will fry anything electronic. It will short out transformers. It will short out anything with a microchip in it, which is practically everything we own.
Wait, what time period was this again?
Back in the 50s.
They didn't have computers. They weren't messing up too much yet.
They had radio equipment that got fried out.
Okay, we didn't have cell phones yet. It's okay.
Aims of launching a nuke at the moon was not the primary objective. The goal was purely shock and awe, like a fireworks show, except it really shows everyone the devastation that could happen. And to that end, the blast had to be impressive enough for the entire world to notice. Now, when you launch a nuke at the moon, I would assume everyone would notice, but only half of the people could see it at once, so had to be a full moon, I guess. And this is probably why the U.S. never went through with the whole blowing up the moon thing. The optics weren't perfect. Scientists who worked on the project
idea all
claimed that
around.
the Air Force wanted a mushroom cloud so large it would be visible from Earth. But like the whole thing about mushroom clouds is that they need a dense atmosphere for that perfect little mushroom shape. And since the moon notably has a lack of atmosphere, wasn't viable for that type of situation. And instead, what would happen was it would have kicked up a whole shit ton of dust, and then like maybe the dust would have orbited around the moon, and then you have like a ring around the moon, which forever that you just changed what we see around the moon forever. That's too much for a little fireworks show. While there's no official reason given for the U.S. abandoning Project A11-9, it seems most likely due to the risk of public outcry and the lack of spectacle.
Also, if you shot at the moon, wouldn't it, depending on how big the explosion is, and it like maybe blows up chunks and stuff of the moon, and those chunks could fall back onto the Earth. Radioactive chunks.
Oh, this is only one thing of the stupid ideas they did back in the Cold War. They actually thought we can use nuclear bombs to make human man-made lakes, which you can. The problem is that
radioactive man-made lakes, and then you got the hills have eyes.
I said there is a real place where the hills could have eyes. Over the Polygon, where Russia blew up many nuclear bombs on the surface so they weren't allowed to.
Three-eyed fish.
I think that's the least of your worries.
They knew about this until 2000, whenever they declassified the documents, and everyone was fucking scared about that. So obviously it was a good move not to go through with this. But if you thought nuking the moon was scary, obviously it's gonna get scarier than that. We're like not even halfway through this video. So even though stockpiling nukes was the name of the game in the nuclear arms race, the Soviet Union wanted to give the proceedings a little big dick energy, so they decided to make the thing called the Tsar Bomba. Now the Tsar Bomba sounds like a Russian King Bob-omb from Mario Kart. That is not the case here. It was actually the largest Russian nuclear bomb ever tested, showing the world that they were an equal
The physical bomb itself weighed more than my big rig would fully load it.
Ooh.
The thing was so impractical as a weapon because any plane that could carry it wouldn't even make it to Western Europe, let alone to the U.S., and there was no rocket at the time that could launch it.
So it was just a giant fat little
It was
prop.
them putting their dick on the table showing how big it is.
This is my dick. Can't fuck you with it.
nuclear power with the U.S. Tsar Bomba was a bomb that was so big it could actually never be used during war. It was 26 feet long and weighed 27 tons. It was heavier than 4 elephants and produced a blast that was 1,500 times more powerful than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. It was impractical.
Yeah. And also another thing, because it was a 3-stage bomb, they took out the 3rd stage to cut the yield down by half.
Huh.
Its theoretical yield could have been like 120 megatons.
Where you learn this?
I watched videos on it a long time ago. I find this shit fascinating.
You still retain the knowledge?
Yeah, I'm a mountain of worthless information. What about it?
Yay.
And stupid, but like all things during the Cold War, it was just a show of power to make other people know that you're not to be f***ed with. In 1961, the Tsar Bomba was dropped on a remote archipelago in the northern reaches of the USSR. And this thing was so big that in order to carry it all the way up there, they had to modify a bomb-carrying plane. Like, they had to make a special plane to carry the special bomb. And the bomb was so big that it had to be attached to a parachute to drop correctly, and the parachute itself weighed a ton. So that's 27 tons now. 28. And it also needed a parachute because if it didn't have a parachute, it would have gone off too quickly, and the plane that was flying...
It needed a parachute for its parachute. Wait, they actually use this thing?
Yeah, they actually set it off. That's how we know about it.
Oh.
Wait to hear the story about the pilot that was piloting it.
Uh-oh.
The reason why
I got it.
Die. So it had to have a parachute to slow it down so the plane could be safely 30 miles away so this thing could go off. And also, even though it was 30 miles away, the pilot still only had a 50% chance of survival. Who took that mission up? Who said, yes, sir, put me on that plane? Upon detonation, the Tsar Bomba created a 5-mile-wide fireball that could be seen from 630 miles away. The mushroom cloud was...
Sheesh.
A 5-mile fireball. So if that went off on Kansas City, everything would be, within a 5-mile radius, would be vaporized. Not blown up, not on fire, vaporized. Like there is nothing left of you. Not even your atoms.
Cool.
Yeah.
Zappity doo that?
I don't know if he mentioned it, but I watched another video talking about it. The pilot, when the bomb went off, his plane dropped 1,000 meters.
Oh, did he crash?
No, he did not, thankfully, crash. Although we probably don't want the underwear from that mission. That probably got thrown away.
40 miles high, which I don't know how high the Earth is. That was a stupid question. Jesus Christ.
I don't know how I died.
40 miles high.
That was one of the brave pilots for a very dangerous weapon mission. I'd say stupid, probably. I wouldn't call that brave.
He probably got a good paycheck. His family was allowed to stay in a nice shack for a week.
Nice.
I'm thinking of paper, please.
Don't even include that, Chris. The mushroom cloud was 40 miles high and stretched across 60 miles at its width, which I don't know if you can even picture that in your head. It's really fucking big. It released the same amount of energy as 57 million tons of TNT and was 10 times more powerful than...
Who's the bomb Mike? Who named the bomb Mike?
Oh, it's probably a U.S. bomb.
I know, but who named the bomb Mike? Who named the
5-mile
bomb
wide fireball
Mike?
that could be seen from 630 miles away. The mushroom cloud was 40 miles high, which I don't know how high the Earth is. That was a stupid question. Jesus Christ, don't even include that, Chris. The mushroom cloud was 40 miles high and stretched across 60 miles at its width, which I don't know if you can even picture that in your head. It's really fucking big. It released the same
Who is Mike? Who's Mike?
That might have been the first, like, hydrogen bomb that was tested, maybe.
Why are they naming Mike?
The U.S.'s largest bomb was named Castle Bravo, so explain that.
But that one's cool. I can see that, but why Mike?
Well, hell, they named the one in Hiroshima Little Boy and Fat Man.
Okay, I can still see that, but why Mike?
million tons of TNT and was 10 times more powerful than all the military weapons used in World War II combined. And its blast waves orbited the Earth 3 times.
Drop Mike in your ass.
I saw. Why did they name him Mike?
You're dying over that.
He's so stupid.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if Americans felt that. They probably got scared. The blast completely destroyed a village 34 miles away, and towns over 100 miles away experienced things like, collapsed roofs and all-around fear. Many countries condemned the Tsar Bomba test, claiming that it went too far, and at the time it was dropped, it was 20% of the size of every atmospheric nuclear test before it combined. So, pretty stupid, but it doesn't stop getting stupid. I'm going to talk about another thing now. So we've been
Question, is that area still radioactive to this day?
Actually, you can go there to this day because they cut the yield back.
Uh-huh.
It's actually not that radioactive. You can actually walk up there 2 a day and you'd be fine.
Huh. Interesting.
Like that sounds like named after 2 bombs.
talking about the US and the USSR a lot, but we can't forget our little friends over the pond. Let's talk about Britain real quick. While they weren't the imperialist superpower that they were before the World Wars, they were still an integral part of NATO and developed their own nuclear capabilities during the Cold War. However, sadly, their nuclear ideas were painfully British. Like, for instance, we have Operation Blue Peacock, which, could you guys be less obnoxious with the way you name things? I ask...
No, I still think Blue Peacock sounds... No, it's still... Okay, why would you call a bomb Peacock? But Mike still sounds the stupidest to me.
Georgia a couple days ago what they called Ding Dong Ditch, and I think it was like Nicky Nacky Runna or something like that. Like, you people are ridiculous. After World War II, Germany was...
I still think Mike sounds the most ridiculous name for a bomb.
split in half between the East and West, and it was seen as the most vulnerable spot for the Cold War to turn hot. Britain was concerned about Russian forces invading West Germany from the north and began developing atomic landmines that could remotely detonate to thwart an attack. These landmines weren't smart because they would leave a crater the size of a football field and would make the area it went off in impossible to occupy for most of human history. And if that wasn't stupid enough, there was one more problem. Northern Germany's temperatures often dropped below freezing during the wintertime. And you can imagine that's going to be wrong for some kind of science going on in the ground. Britain was concerned that the landmines would be comprised by the cold, so they came up with a finger-licking good solution: chickens. This is not a joke, okay? Everyone has to focus up real quick. This is a real part of history, and it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Live birds would be placed inside the landmine with enough food to survive for 8 days, okay? Their body heat would keep the mines warm enough for long enough so they could still detonate, and then the chickens would obviously die by the explosion, or they would just starve to death. Either way, the chicken is dying. After 4 years of development, Blue Peacock was ditched in 1958, and then the project was declassified in 2004 on April Fool's Day, because I can imagine the British government said, this was so stupid that maybe we can make people think that this is all one big joke. Alright, so
we have nuclear mines powered by chickens.
How? Wait. How'd they put a chicken in a mine?
Well, if you saw how big the damn thing was, I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't care how. But then how does it work as a mine if it's so big? How would anyone in?
They didn't think that far ahead on a lot of shit. When you learn history, you learn the shit people did back in the day. We had bombs that were guided by pigeons during World War II.
that was a fun little aside about the British people. Where the adults are talking now. Let's go back to the big ringers. In 1962, a year after the Soviets tested Tsar Bomba, the U.S. went full supervillain and set off a nuclear bomb in space. The project was called Starfish Prime, and it was a part of a series of tests called Operation Fishbowl. That's how you name it. You name it like you're a fucking Bond villain, an aquatic-based Bond villain, but a Bond villain nonetheless. So the goal was twofold. The first objective was to basically freak everyone the out, scare the shit out of people, as we do. And the second objective was to see what would happen. So we were just skiddly scat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we set a bomb off in space just to see what would happen.
Are humans cats? Are humans and cats the same?
Who knows?
The whole term.
What was the bomb that someone made in World War II where they were the cat-guided bomb?
Yeah. I remember that from that one video and junk. But no, seriously. Curiosity killed the cat. Why are we so fucking curious to do stupid shit?
Because we're dumb.
Why are we dumb and smart at the same time?
There is a universe where humanity doesn't exist anymore. One decision is probably why we're even here.
Nah, just dumb luck is why we're here. Hurry up, AI, take over.
Free jazz with our nuclear options at one point in history. In 1958, physicist James A.
Ooh, hi, it's Joe Star. The Cold War spy, Gloria?
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't know. Well, actually, the whole concept of Spy X Family, that's more based on Cold War era.
Huh.
When you think about it.
Oh. How are we gonna go to chicken more food without in the top? Now the chicken, everything's screwed for that poor chicken.
This is how KFC got the extra crispy.
I'm immediately thinking of Minecraft. Chicken lava. Lava chicken. Lava chicken.
Van Allen discovered belts of radiation in outer space, and Operation Fishbowl set out to see what would happen to these belts after they were exposed to nuclear explosions. And going back real quick, James A. Van Allen is a terrible name. I hate that name. I keep looking at it and I hate it. I don't know if I just had to get that off my chest. Moving on. The blast was opposed by the Soviets because of course it was, and they called the US Atom Mongers, which sounds like a really cool name for a ska band. But here's a fun fact: the USSR conducted a high altitude nuclear test just 3 months after. So like, shut the f up. You guys are dorks. You did what we did, but you did it after us, which is always less cool. But this was the Cold War, so narrative meant everything. You had to talk shit and then do the same thing other people were doing. It was all for show, a little kayfabe. The US was brazen about Starfish Prime, making no secret about blowing up nukes in space. And Americans were shockingly chill about the whole ordeal. A newspaper...
Does no one think of the possibilities of the death?
Well, keep in mind when they set off the first nuclear bomb, they thought it would ignite the oxygen in the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, you're right. We were the smart
And-
people were thinking it was going to kill us a lot faster.
And their logic was, we'll just try to see what happens.
It's like, oh well, if the world ends, the world. God.
You think we don't do that anymore? But you know the big hadron collider? They thought if we set it off, it might actually cause a black hole on Earth. And their only proof was, trust me, it might happen. It's a small chance.
So, these people went to casinos a lot, didn't they?
Probably.
In Honolulu even ran the headline, "End blast tonight may be dazzling, good views likely." Come on, kids, let's all go out on the lawn and look up at our devastating future. The nuclear explosion set off a light show that lasted a full 7 minutes, creating rainbow stripes and artificial aurora borealis in the sky.
Ah, smell that glowing green air.
And this is why people now get cancer.
You think?
I bet you.
Because was cancer that big a deal back then?
I don't know.
Huh. So they introduced cancer in the air.
So it probably was
Yay.
beautiful, but once again, like, that's like literally looking into the eyes of God. The
Speculation.
death God, whatever that was. In the immediate aftermath, satellites were destroyed, electrical services failed, street lighting systems went on the fritz, and circuit breakers were tripped, which set off tons of burglar alarms. But the lasting impact of Starfish Prime was the artificial radiation that they left out in space. This radiation belt was even stronger than the radiation belt that inspired the tests, and it lingered in space, destroying any satellite that happened to go into it for a full decade. But it's good to know it only takes a decade for that thing to go away, so more nukes in space, why not? So while the arms race had a way of spilling into space for some reason, thankfully our impulses to nuke the moon were traded out for sending people into space. But there's just one problem. To boldly go where no man has gone before, you have to send a man in a place where no man has gone before, and we don't know if people just die. Like, if you go out into space...
Dude, I remember this one, like, horror story of, like, some Russian astronaut or someone.
I think it was a female astronaut, too.
And, you can hear their screams and stuff, and they literally just died out there or something.
Yeah, and also, by the way, Russian side's called a cosmonaut, not an astronaut.
Who cares? Same thing.
Thank you, Pasty George.
Joestar.
Pasty George super chatted $7.29. Actually, it is biguase of PFOA or C8, which is a forever chemical that is causing cancers, tumors, etc.
Huh.
Oh, goal.
What does that mean?
The stuff we probably used to spray on non-stick spray and plastics and stuff.
Oh. Everything caused cancer, huh?
Thank you, Joestar. The Vatican
We
in
don't
the
know if people
background is
would
on
just
fire.
die because of that. We didn't know if they could survive, like, the travel to get there. We didn't know if they were in zero gravity, if they would just, like, disintegrate. Like, every time I think about astronauts,
They
I'm
died
like,
slowly.
everything in your body just kind of lays inside of there. When you're in space, like, all your organs are kind of just, like, free-floating, right? Or unless there's, like, fibers that keep shit together. I failed anatomy in high school. Even with the smartest minds on Earth crunching the numbers, there was still a lot of unknown.
Okay, we did not have internet during the time, or it would have started a big chaos after all the destruction in space. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah. Also, I learned something. And I started came down with telling stories of Johnny Dare. Said the one thing they don't tell you about being in space, besides, you tell how you poop in space, which is like, said, imagine like squeezing the toothpaste and it coming out. And also, you know how guys get morning wood? You get the worst boners when you wake up, like the hardest boners you would when you wake up in the...
What?
Yeah, because your blood is flowing freely in zero gravity.
It's creeping me out. Yeah, let's not talk about it anymore.
And time was of the essence because in the Cold War, everything was about being first. So to expedite space exploration, the Soviet Union and the US turned to the animals to send them into space, and this gets real sad real quick. In the early stages of the space race, the USSR had America up against the ropes. They sent the first...
Didn't we go to a museum that talked about monkeys and dogs that were in space and they did not come back?
Yeah.
satellite into orbit in 1957. Chris, put up that clip of the Stinky Pete saying Sputnik. If you could find that and overlay it when I say Sputnik, that'd be fantastic, Chris.
Over and over.
Don't talk. Do not talk back to me.
Pussy.
Then they sent the first man into space in 1961 and conducted the first spacewalk in 1965. But the true pioneers of space exploration were dogs. By the time cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, what the fuck is that name? Gagarin, I don't know how to say his name. By the time he circled Earth, dozens of Soviet dogs have been up there by that point. Russians preferred using dogs over other animals because they could build strong bonds that led to better...
Yabba.
Pasty George super chatted $7.29. Although C8 is not used anymore, a replacement was created which is called C6. However, it is just as deadly, if not more, than C8. You can get tested to see which version of PFOA is in your DNA.
So ultimately, we're fucked no matter what.
We're all gonna die. I'll do the goal again.
I guess the question is what we're gonna die of first. We're gonna die of heart disease stuff. We're gonna die of other natural causes, cancer, all this other goodies, or maybe just get blown up, shot, or combustion. Have you heard of spontaneous combustion?
That's why I fart all the time. I don't want to hold it in. It's like South Park.
You're not a cow. What would happen if they started to send cats and birds up to space? Ooh, space cat.
Here, I'll throw broccoli up, see what happens.
No, I'll throw my kitty.
Oh yeah, goal again?
Thank you,
And
Just
they trusted them with their lives.
Oh, it looks like Finny.
Oh, it looks like a scruffy, weird Pomeranian.
And they get
It's
shot in a
probably
rocket up to
Pomeranian
space. I
mix,
fucking
mutt.
hate this part of the story. And they were using like strays they found on the street because they believed that they were scrappy Moscow dogs that could really survive on their own.
No. Wink.
Pasty George super chatted $3.64. That's right, Truckerman, better out than in. LMFA.
Dude, what is that, would you want to go see the, Shrek 5 movie?
Is it already out or?
No, I don't think it is, but I remember
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go see it.
You're gonna wait for it to come out for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these were strays that they pulled out of their normal lives and sent.
No! How dare you!
It's in cows.
How dare you, Star Nova! You don't touch the cows!
Aliens.
Do not mess with the moo-moos!
them
No
up into
space
the
cow.
f***ing space. K-9 cosmonauts would undergo intense training, and while some exercises were basic dog training, like stay, others were insane, like keeping them confined in small boxes for 20 days at a time, and riding in rocket simulators and centrifuges that stimulated high launch acceleration. You know how your dog hates being in a car? This is like a car times a million. Like it's smaller than a car, but it also goes a million miles per hour.
God, hearing that reminds me of this one animation with the dogs that were tested on and they try to escape and junk. I can't remember what it was called, but it was really depressing. And they tried to, like, they had like so many weird tests done to these dogs, and then like they tried to escape and junk, and then like the ending was one of the dogs accidentally gets someone shot and killed, and then they try to swim out to an island, and they're what's the word I'm looking for? Ambiguous? Yeah. Yeah, what happened to them was very ambiguous.
Well, I keep thinking about this, how we used it when we first got Mushi. Every time we get in a car, we throw up.
Oh, yeah, when we first got him when he was a puppers.
Imagine the dogs in the centrifuges in tiny boxes.
Oh.
You know a lot of them puked.
They probably died.
They were also subject to surgical modifications that would allow scientists to monitor how spaceflight
Like
affects
that!
the body. And then in 1951, the Soviets sent 2 dogs into space.
Actually, I think that movie was saying that the dogs were test subjects during this time, if I remember correctly.
Oh, what movie was that?
I don't remember what it was called. I really don't.
Oh, it looks like Finny.
Those are not Pomeranians, though.
They kind of...
Badoogie. Plague dogs!
Thanks for the
George
5.
Super chatted $3.64. The Plague Dogs 1977.
Yep, yeah, that's it. That's the movie I was thinking of. Thank you, Just Star, again.
Want to do another moan for him?
I'll do another moan just because.
their names, but they sent them to the edge of suborbital's flight. It lasted a total of 15 minutes, and in those 15 minutes, the dogs experienced 4 minutes of weightlessness. But good news, they made it back to Earth safely, and they were the first mammals to ever go into space and come back and not die. Only a few months later, Dzik, I think that's how you say one of their dogs' names, and another lady called Lisa went up into space, but their rocket parachute failed to deploy, and they both died on impact when they came back down. But
Not the poopies!
They landed in China, and that's why they eat the dogs now.
I'm gonna smack you.
I mean, whatever. I mean, a lot of Soviet dogs did survive. However, there are some exceptions. This is the saddest part of the script. I kept trying to not get there, but it's just words on a page. I gotta keep reading them. You know about my girl Laika, the space angel? In 1957, the Soviets knowingly sent a dog on a suicide space mission. The USSR had just made the first huge gain in the space race by launching Sputnik, but Russian leader Nikita Khrushchev wanted another big space event to coincide with the 40th anniversary of the Bolshevik Reservoir, whatever the that thing is.
What?
Scientists only had a few weeks to put an animal into orbit, knowing full well that they did not have the capabilities to bring this thing back.
To be fair, in this period of Russia, they didn't give a shit if people lived. There's a Count video that I'm not gonna watch on stream because it is horrifying of what happened to these people.
Is that where we got that one? Where we found out about that one with the person trapped up there in junk? Rip all those poor doggies.
They decided to pick my girl Laika, whatever, for sacrifice. To the Russians' credit, they tried to make her demise as human as possible. Their theory was that she would die from oxygen deprivation, peacefully, or at the very least eat some poisoned food that they left for her, which is so f***ed up. However, after circling the Earth once, her capsule overheated and the malfunction and stress killed her less than a few hours into her trip. A faulty temperature control system seemed to be the blame, which was a part of how hastily this process was pushed through. And then Sputnik 2 eventually broke up into Earth atmosphere when it came back in, and it technically spread her ashes all across the Earth, and I find that beautiful. It almost made me cry a little bit. Woo! God damn, I haven't been sleeping. You can't blame me. But after all of that, the USSR gave conflicting reports on how she actually died. They usually said a much friendlier thing of, like, she died of, like, freezing to death, or, like, the poison food that we fed her. In 1990,
she died like cars.
No, she died like who's the character that burnt? Like that one weird lady in SAO Sword Art Online, the fourth one.
Oh,
where they burnt.
that weird shit.
Yeah, that's how that dog died.
She got hugged by a creepy baby that was on fire.
Well, the creepy baby on fire was the atmosphere as it came back in.
That movie.
Goddamn, George.
Pasty George super chatted $7.29. Oh yeah, the Russian state did not really give a damn about their people during the time, and Chernobyl is a perfect example.
Oh yeah.
That whole story.
God.
Thank you for the 10.
Again? You're gonna just make me keep moaning, huh? At this point, I should actually run this monster.
And here comes the strike.
Yeah. Hello, Loco, welcome.
Talking about
a
Cold War
Soviet
shit.
scientist who helped send Laika into space said, the more time passes, the more I'm sorry about it. We shouldn't have done it. We don't learn enough from... Why am I crying? We did not learn enough from this mission to justify the death of the dog. But at that time, animal
Where's the
welfare
animal
paled in
SPCA
comparison
for
to winning
this?
the Cold War. And Laika was viewed as a necessary sacrifice and a hero. And in the most Russian way possible, they put her face on stamps, and also her name became a brand of cigarettes. God bless her. Today, Laika is memorialized as a part of a statue at the Russian cosmonaut training facility, and has her very own statue at the research facility where she was trained.
Immortalize
Her
the
legacy-
doggy for life. What the fuck did I just pause it on?
I don't know.
Are they having a weird dance routine for the
My
dog?
eyes are hurting watching this.
It's not even watching, it's just looking at the pinks and blues. I think, okay, I'm gonna take a guess here. They're having a concert in honor of the dog.
Probably.
He continues to this day, and with the song Like a Party, the official entry for Ireland in the 2025 Eurovision Song Contest. And here's a line
What?
from that song that let's see if I can get through saying without crying. Through the comets and the stones, she is howling for her bones. I am good. I'm fine. I got it out. Okay. But we forgot to talk
Really?
about America. And America loves one-upping, motherfuckers. so they decided to send a bunch of monkeys into space. It was traditional for monkeys from America to be sent into space, and it started much before NASA was even created. In 1948, the U.S. Air Force put a male monkey into a capsule of a Nazi-designed V-2 rocket. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Operation Paperclip, a lot of our rockets were made by Nazis. We're not going to get into that whole thing. The monkey, named Albert, suffocated before he reached space, so...
Shit.
I don't know why I don't feel as bad for monkeys as I do dogs, but I don't. Whatever. But that did...
It's because they're too close to humans. No one cares about humans.
Didn't they have like some like death row inmates we could have just sent up into space instead of this?
That's a good point.
Like people we didn't care about.
That is a good point. Why didn't they
Pay a bum on the street $20. Hey, you want to go for a ride?
Oh no!
To deter the U.S., though, we were still gung-ho on the monkey ship. In 1949, Albert II was sent into space. We were like, well, whatever. Who needs to name monkeys? Just keep giving them numbers. And he had a successful suborbital flight, but he did die when his parachute failed. But if you're concerned that we would stop trying...
Splat.
And we got Donkey Kong.
Robot chicken monkey. Yes, the robot chicken monkey in outer space.
Oh my
Monkeys
God.
in outer space. Protecting the freedoms of the human race. Many died along the way. Damn it, now I want to watch Robot Chicken.
Then you don't know America. Later that same year, Albert III died when his rocket exploded. 2 months later, Albert IV died when his parachute once again failed. Albert V died the same way, 1951.
Damn it, now I
In
can think
September
of
of that
Robot
year, we
Chicken.
brought one of our banana boys home safely. Albert VI successfully landed from his space flight, but he did die 2 hours after he landed. I don't know. Later in the decade, we were like, let's switch things up. Monkeys keep dying, let's send a squirrel named Gordo into this bitch. And finally, in 1958, a squirrel monkey named Gordo deployed his parachute after a successful mission and fell to his death after his parachute. Instead of are squirrel monkeys real? Alexa, what's a squirrel monkey?
I can't.
Alexa, stop. So I guess that's a real kind of monkey. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know.
I'm not sure how to help you.
I'm not talking to you. Guess squirrel monkeys are...
Are you sure it wasn't a spider monkey? I've never heard of a squirrel monkey.
Maybe it's like a different breed of monkey we've never seen. They're probably not around anymore because they kept sending them into space.
Real. Moving on. Ignoring the previous decade of space monkey fatalities, NASA was ready to tackle human spaceflight by the early 60s. Yeah, monkeys kept dying, but time for humans, I guess. They pivoted to chimpanzees for the next phase of testing during the space race, primarily because humans and chimps are so closely related. We share more DNA with chimps than any other animal, and also chimps are incredibly smart. They know how to rip off penises, and that's all I know about them. Instead of merely being passengers like dogs and monkeys of past space missions, scientists wanted to see if chimps could complete operational tasks during missions. The US sourced 40 chimps from an exotic animal dealer in Miami who had just bought the primates from an African trapper. Like, what the f are we doing? That's the most American way we could ever get something done, buying chimps from a fella in Miami. NASA trained them for space by using G-force simulations and taught them to pull levers by electrocuting the soles of their feet. From the class of 40 primates, chimp number 65, renamed Ham, was chosen for the mission. Ham's rocket launched into space about 4...
They named him Ham! Why?
$10. Thank you, George.
Pasty George super chatted $7.29. What they leave out is that in the pressure chamber tests to simulate the vacuum of space, many monkeys died horrible deaths because they were basically turned inside out from the extreme pressures.
Robot Chicken was not wrong! Now I know the reason why it started raining bananas in the sky. I can't
Those
take
are
it.
good for you to pick.
Take it. I can't take it anymore. No
1,500 miles per hour
jizz.
faster than anticipated and reached an altitude of about 42 miles higher than planned due to a crack that caused air pressure loss. I just imagine those scientists watching Ham's space flight just being like, there he goes. Go, that's too fast, too far. Oh, good. Everything I just said.
We've got like 24 minutes of this video.
I can't.
Ham would not face the same same fate that the Alberts before him did. His suit offered him enough protection where he wasn't burned up and he was able to complete his tasks and make it home safely. Well, kind of safely. There's more caveats to this. And also, he was wearing a little suit. I find that adorable. After his 16-minute flight, he landed about 132 miles away from where NASA intended him to. Because there was a crack in his capsule, he nearly drowned waiting for his rescue. After
I can't anymore. I can't.
Jane Goodall said, "I've never seen a chimp with more terror in his face." Ham was pretty traumatized after the event. He even refused to get in his chair for post-op photos. But as a result for torturing a chimp that had been ripped from his home in Cameroon, Alan Shepard Jr. would become the first American in space just 4 months later. As for Ham, he would spend the next 2 decades alone in a cage in his Washington, D.C. zoo until he was eventually moved to a zoo in North Carolina where he died in 1983. So sad shit for Ham. After his death, the Smithsonian wanted to put his body on display, but the public outcry was swift, and instead, his skeleton was removed and kept in the National Museum of Health and Medicine, while the rest of his remains were buried at the International Space Hall of Fame. So he was a famous chimp, but he was a sad chimp. So let's change it up a little bit.
That chimp went to Vietnam PTSD.
God. It's a damn to me.
The front runners of the space race were obviously the US and the USSR. France was doing some stuff sometimes. It's cute, really, to think that a country like France thought they were going to the moon or something.
What the French do? They didn't do shit.
What? French did a thing?
Yeah, chimp with PTSD from NASA.
I can't laugh anymore. I can't.
I'm sure all they wanted to do was smoke ridiculously skinny cigarettes next to the Sea of Tranquility. But just like the Brits with Blue Peacock, the French really out-Frenched themselves with their contribution to the Cold War. In 1963, they sent the first and only cat that has ever gone out into space. Which, if I had to pick...
There you go. Someone sent a cat. The French sent cats. No, don't send kitties. Our friends are going to the moon for cheese. Cheese moon!
The most French animal, it would definitely be a cat. Feliciette was one of 14 cats who were subjected to confinement, loud rocket noises, and centrifuge sessions, and she was chosen for the operation because she was the only cat who didn't gain weight during stressful situations, which my poor Abby, I cannot imagine. Oh my god, I can't imagine doing this to my cat. With electrodes in her brain, she was rocketed into space for 15 minutes and survived the landing to become one of the most important figures in cat history. But sadly, there was no parade for the sweet little kitty. No one seemed to give a shit. The French chose to send the cat into space because at the time they were widely used for neuroscience. And Feliciette was euthanized 2 months after her space journey to figure out what happened in her brain.
No! You sick fucks!
Blame
Fuck the French!
Yep.
No!
We should let Germany take over for them.
You guys, honestly. I'm always mean about the French, but that is dog behavior from dog people. Alright, now let's stop making fun of the French and talk about spies. Spies are fun, and a lot of spies did do things during the Cold War. Espionage predates the Cold War by about 3,500 years. The earliest evidence of spying comes from ancient Egypt, and it's been part of kingdoms, regimes, and governments ever since. The backdrop of the Cold War was especially ripe for spy games. With the looming...
Pasty George super chatted $3.64, putting cats in gravity tests OMG. LOL. XD.
No! No! Don't laugh and smile at kitties! No! We love kitties here! Meow, 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 meow.
Possibility of nuclear war and the constant struggle to lead the world in space exploration, the US and USSR were constantly trying to steal top-secret information from each other. This led to a wave of communist paranoia in the US known as the Second Red Scare. During the mid-1940s and through the 50s, known piece of shit and Senator Joseph McCarthy and FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover accused many left-wing actors, politicians, and educators of having communist ties or being Soviet spies. I talked about it in my Ren Fair video. For some reason, those things were connected. American citizens were subject to the...
What? Did I sneeze?
Shugi!
Alright.
The FBI using illegal tactics like burglarizing their homes, opening their mail, and wiretapping. The House Un-American Activities Committee used the subpoena power of Congress as a tool to intimidate citizens. To put it mildly, we were spinning our wheels because of the Soviets, but honestly, it wasn't that far-fetched. 4 years after the US dropped the atomic bombs that ended World War II, the USSR was able to test its first nuclear bomb. This is thanks to Soviet spies who stole information while working...
Can survive in space. unless it lands back in France. Because they thought, the cats did better than the monkeys and the dogs. And then the people just killed them because they wanted to learn from
'Cause
their
they're
brain or
French.
do.
On the Manhattan
the
Project.
kitty.
They talked about it in Oppenheimer. Wasn't a big plot point, but that was a big issue that happened. For example, German-born British scientist Klaus Fuchs, who was part of Britain's atomic bomb development
Fuchs?
program before being sent to the U.S. to work on the Manhattan Project. In
Do you think he fuchsed a lot?
Probably. He fucked us over.
1950, the U.S. discovered Fuchs' espionage work, and he was detained by British authorities. And the discovery of this dude led to the U.S. to have an even bigger ring of spies who infiltrated the Manhattan Project, led by Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. The couple met as a part of the Young Communist League and became spies once Julius landed a job as an engineer and inspector at the Army Signal Corps Engineering Lab. Rosenberg gave exclusive documents to the Soviets through a network of recruiters that included project engineers, chemists, and military scientists. The couple was arrested in 1950 and were guilty of doing all this bad shit. In 1951, they were given the electric chair, making them the first American citizens ever executed for espionage. Most Europeans were outraged over their deaths, and it was widely debated their innocence. But when the Soviet Union fell in the 90s, newly obtained Russian documents clearly showed Julius Rosenberg's involvement in espionage. Ethel's role, however, is still questioned, but you know, she was f***ing him, so she probably was aware he was doing something. But the Rosenbergs were
Not necessarily. You can fuck someone and not know any of their dirty, dirty, dark secrets.
Like Cinder and her boyfriend?
Not like that. Not a good
the
example.
only spy team who were sucking and f***ing during the Cold War. In 1965, Karl and Hannah Kosher left communist Czechoslovakia and posed as defecting dissidents. When Karl asked the Czech authorities how he was supposed to infiltrate the CIA, they told him, "That's up to you, pimp, figure it out." And Karl went big. He went biggie mode. He went biggie mode on their asses. The Koshers became American citizens in 1971, and they lived large in New York City. They drove around in a blue BMW and lived in luxurious apartment buildings with actors and athletes. Hannah sold diamonds and had a taste for expensive fur coats, while Karl split his time between Columbia University and the CIA. They were the quintessential New York power couple, and they'd probably live in Williamsburg if they could in modern era. But behind the scenes, Karl infiltrated American security agencies as a CIA translator, passing along sensitive documents to the Czech secret police. And that wasn't the only way these young fangs got classified information. They did it with their bodies. They out. They were f***ing around. They were getting information from people at sex parties. Ever been to one of those? Probably not, you f***ing virgin. Of course, U.S. agents aren't supposed to attend sex parties because it puts you in a pretty compromising position, but the heart wants what the heart wants, not to quote Woody Allen and his daughter. These two were plunged into a swinging scene that included CIA officers, Pentagon officials, and at least one U.S. senator. And it's funny to think that these dudes had stopped doing this. All our politicians are having sex.
That's making me think of the one sex scene orgy party in The Boys.
That's probably how they... That's probably why Epstein...
Someone were really small and went in someone's pee-pee hole.
My eyes.
And then they weren't small anymore inside the pee-pee hole.
The boys went downhill so fast.
That episode was so weird. I mean, interesting death. You get killed from having a tiny man in your pee-pee. Growing. It was a reference to the idea of having Ant-Man going up Thanos' butt.
Probably.
Each other all the time. That's my conspiracy. The Kosher's wife swapped their way through the intelligence agencies and politicians, bumping uglies to gather tons of intelligence for the KGB. They are eventually caught and imprisoned for 2 years, eventually making their way back to Czechoslovakia as part of a spy swap. When they arrived home, a gold Mercedes was given to them and a parade was thrown in their honor for literally f***ing their way to the top. Now, this was pretty common with KGB agents, and a former KGB agent was asked why sex was used so much during these espionage.
Tiny man in the pee-pee hole was fucked. I only like The Boys for fucking,
That dolphin scene.
No, I'm talking, the character.
Oh, yeah.
Help me out here.
Frenchie?
No, main character.
Homelander?
Homelander. Frenchie sucks.
Towards the end, yeah.
I hated Frenchie at the end. They ruined his character.
Acts, and he said, "In the West, you ask your men to stand up for their country. In Russia, we ask our young women to lay down." Good God. Sexpionage isn't a creation of movies or TV. It is a actual spy tactic. And just like other skills crucial to intelligence agencies, it's one that's taught to agents. Ex-CIA agent Jason Matthews claims that the Soviets created their state school number 4 as a training ground for sexpionage. Here, students, also known as pharaohs, would learn tips and tricks on how to seduce their targets to give up information, or luring their targets into, sticky situations so they would give up secrets.
The Soviet Union had a hose school to spy out. The Soviet Union.
I'll bet you wonder why he's so messed up. I know he's the only interesting character now.
If you're tied up with, your back and balls hanging out, you probably say whatever you can to get that iron grip off them nuggies. These techniques are also referred to as setting honey traps. And the Soviets often recruited people who were already in the military for sexpionage, but that wasn't always the case. Often college students and actresses were also recruited for their looks and intelligence. And once students were in class, they were given the fly course on all things sexpionage. Their training included physical tasks like martial arts training, hand-to-hand combat competitions, and firearm practices. And also more cerebral things.
Did they learn a powerful vagina hold on with their...
That is actually a thing. You ever seen the women that have the gripping where they can pick weight?
The little egg.
That's actually a thing.
The power of the Vavangan.
Things like learning foreign customs and how to talk without a Russian accent, though I think that having a Russian accent is probably harder than not, but I understand why that'd be a red flag. They were even trained carefully on how to eat caviar and open bottles of champagne depending on the tradition of the country they were spying on. And of course, most importantly, they learned about sex and how to do it good and how to make fellas big.
Damn!
I don't know if you can put that in, Chris. I don't know. That was funny, though. I'm in extra tug mode right now. Put up the...
How come we don't get sex education proper in school?
Spies after this information.
So people know about it. Thank you.
What?
And I can see how that many people on the internet would
become a spy now after this information. It's the
Students were
next
taught how
best
to get
thing to
information from
hoeing.
agents by learning the art of
Spy
seduction. And
hoeing.
classes often revolved around watching sex documentaries and studying the Kama Sutra. In some classes, students were even forced to expose themselves to get better at sex techniques. And after their crash course...
Sex acts that you have to be both skinny and flexible to do.
Heck?
Don't look it up on stream. It will get us banned.
On sex education, each student was given their own sexy lingerie and sent out into the world to their way through everything.
Yo, how you get like a gown?
They need to get done. While they were often covertly embedded into foreign agencies, sex spies were also sent
I just got it! The sexy lingerie is the graduation gown.
swanky clubs and five-star hotels in Moscow to seduce traveling diplomats. And sometimes, to help intel, they would often wear fake nipples that were actually microphones to figure out what people... If I was having sex with a young lady, and one of her nipples was, different...
Or fell off.
I'd at least try and pick at it. I don't know. But it's not...
You try to pick... I mean, it is possible that one nipple can be out, the other one doesn't have to be. But maybe just in case you should get two microphones in there.
All about the ladies and sexpionage, the Germans were doing a lot of things with boys with big wangs. East German counterintelligence agencies focused on male agents, known as Romeos, to employ sexpionage tactics. But since they were setting honeypots primarily for women, they had a different crash course on how to get this done, and namely, they had to teach men how to listen to women, which I think is so funny. And this is not some hacky, female comedian bit from the 90s. They literally had to teach these men how to be, good husbands and good, partners and listen to women yammer on all day. Am I right,
Oh
Phil?
my god, why is this slightly sounding like where Spy X Family got their plot? This sounds like Austin Powers movies. Oh my god, it does sound like Austin Powers. Dude, that actually is the plot in the fucking Austin Powers. The spy who shagged me, I think.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, I don't put that in. Romeos were recruited for likability, charm, and ability to listen. The idea was that by being charming and knowing how to make themselves the center of attention, women would be drawn to them. But then, because they could actually listen, the target would enjoy talking to them and confide more and more information. This is literally how I pulled my girlfriend. I was funny, I just listened to her talk all day,
And now we need to copy that and send that to all the incels out there.
She enjoys it. I would be so good as a Romeo, dude. I'm not tall though. That's probably an issue. I don't know. I could get it done.
You probably
I could
don't
get it
have
done.
the dong
Even more
for
than
it
Sparrow's
either.
sexual seduction, Romeos were pretty up. They didn't just they made you fall in love with them. This was a long con that would happen over years and years and eventually often ended in marriage proposals. Once a Romeo was married, they would reveal that they were a spy, but for a friendly country or ally like Canada. Then they would tell their wife that in order for them not to be taken from their country, they would need to give her the information to satisfy their bosses. It was such a successful tactic that by 1978, they had at least 53 women compromised by Romeos. By 1980, NATO had started a list to help single female secretaries in order to ensure they weren't marrying.
Is this what Lloyd is doing to your... Is that gonna be the twist in Spy X Family? Yo, boy.
East German spies. But guys, this is a message to the fellas out there. Obviously, you don't have to be f***ing macho machismo to get done. You just have to be friendly, charming, and listen to ladies. Which I know is not that easy. It's easier on paper, but like, Jesus Christ, these men were...
And also have really good hair.
ruining governments by just listening to ladies. You don't think you can find you incels, you f***ing losers? But while sex provided an effective tactic for helping the Soviets steal state secrets, the US had another idea, which arguably is almost just as fun, and that answer was drugs. Let's do drugs.
Yay,
Let's just do
drugs!
those. While searching for a truth serum, the US ended up drugging tons of military personnel and civilians without their consent. These drug experiments were used to make, people less violent and make interrogations easier.
When does the sex gun come in?
Well, we made a gay bomb.
Yeah, that.
Wait,
what did I
At
say?
the end of the day, it just
Sex
ended up...
gun.
Damn it, I meant gay gun.
It was the Cold War, so in the eyes of the government, the end justified the means, even if the means violated...
My brain's thinking of sex now, just full blown, just thinking of sex.
Well, I'm glad we moved past from the animals dying.
Basic human rights.
Imagine
From 1948 to 1975, the U.S. Army tested chemical weapons on American soldiers at their Edgewood Arsenal factory. These experiments were very classified and affected over 7,000 soldiers. Many of the soldiers were technically volunteers, though they were often misled about what exactly they were signing up for. Like the use of deadly sarin gas, which was accidentally developed by the Nazis while trying to invent a cheap pesticide. Is it just me, or does science feel like a crazy shot in the dark sometimes? Like when you accidentally try and develop a pill for hypertension and then all of a sudden you've made Viagra. Like Grandpappy now has a raging boner. Like that's how it happened. Or you're trying to kill some weeds and then you develop a gas that could kill thousands of people with a click of a button, Whoops! The sarin gas at Edgewood was so strong that birds passing over the gas chambers following sarin tests dropped dead from the sky and regularly had to be removed from the roof. Some subjects of Edgewood's chemical treatment didn't even volunteer at all, like professional tennis player Harold Blawer, whatever. He checked into the New York State Psychiatric Institute in 1952 after a bout of depression following his divorce. Edgewood Arsenal had struck a deal with the Psychiatric Institute that allowed them to secretly test chemicals on patients, and he was injected with 450 milligrams of mescaline and died that following day. In the 60s, psychiatrist Colonel James Ketchum joined Edgewood. He became known as
James Ketchum.
James Ketchum.
He's Ash Ketchum's father! We found him, boys!
Dr. Delirium. Never a good sign when a ranking officer has a name like that. It's like, Colonel Kill-em-all. Not good. Dr. Delirium was obsessed with the idea that chemical weapons were more humane than traditional weaponry. He was especially fixated on LSD, which is not good to have an evil scientist be thrown that at people all the time. He believed that the Soviets were stockpiling large amounts of LSD for military use. Veterans who experienced Edgewood claimed that they were going there for military, training, and in reality, they were experiencing chemical weapons and crazy hallucinogenics. Soldiers
Is this where we get the term going on a trip?
would hallucinate for days after their tests and go temporarily blind, and some tried to kill themselves. Many soldiers left that place scarred for life, full depression, tried to kill themselves after they were there, and had full-blown nervous system disorders. So if you're a soldier right now and someone tells you to take a pill, just don't do it. Because I'm guessing this hasn't stopped. Now, it's hard to overestimate the hysteria.
I knew it. Ask Ketchum father. The Team Rockets.
I love
that surrounded the...
It's kind of sad but true. Like, when my dad died, we were told that he couldn't be an organ donor because of the time he served. He could have been exposed to mad cow disease.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cold War. Even a rumor or error in reporting could lead to decades of top secret experiments. This is precisely how the CIA came to develop MK-Ultra. In the 50s, the US was increasingly paranoid that the Soviets were outpacing them in interrogation techniques and technology. A lot of this was based on false reports from the Korean War that Soviet-backed North Koreans developed mind control capabilities. This, to use a technical term, is insane. No one has ever made full mind control possible yet, but the CIA was convinced. In 1953, they created a little number called MK-Ultra. In many ways, MK-Ultra was a continuation of a scientific experiment that started in Nazi concentration camps, so not a good start. Not only were many of the experiments based on Nazis' work, but like I said, Operation Paperclip, they were hiring Nazis to do these experiments. The work was headed by chemist Sidney Gottlieb.
Man, I heard some fucked up, like, conspiracy theories that they use MK Ultra and junk to try to, and something about trying to get psychic powers or some shit.
The movie The Men Stare at Goats. I've seen that movie bits and pieces. I want to see that movie.
Who was known as the Black Sorcerer. And if you're keeping score at home, yes, that is another comic book level supervillain name. The Black Sorcerer was desperate to find a truth serum to use while interrogating prisoners of war. And while he never fully developed mind control, they were using things like LSD to really see how easy it is to interrogate someone when they are completely blasted off into outer space. In the early 50s, the Black Sorcerer arranged for the CIA to buy the entire world's supply of LSD for $240,000. Ironically, that means the CIA was responsible for bringing LSD, the drug that really pushed the counterculture in the 60s, to America. And due to the classified and unethical nature of the experiments, the project spread across 80 different institutions like college campuses, prisons, and hospitals. Often, the researchers involved didn't even know their work was going towards the CIA, though they may be playing a little coy because these experiments demonstrated a large amount of lack of humanity. From verbal and sexual abuse to electrocutions and torture, it's clear that MK Ultra wanted to break humans. One mental patient in Kentucky was given LSD for 174 consecutive days without his consent.
Oh, damn. He went on a trip that never ended.
Wow, at that point, what is reality anymore?
Others were heavily drugged and sat next to a record that was playing vocal suggestions on a loop, or even left to float in a sensory deprivation tank while accidentally filled up with acid. We still don't know the full extent of MK Ultra because thousands of documents relating to the project were destroyed in the 70s, and I hate to be that guy, but that sounds suspicious as shit. I mean, if you accidentally destroy thousands of documents, you were probably doing some horrifying tasks. Fortunately, if you...
No, there's some shady fucking shit out there, man. There's some shit.
And, oh yeah, the government stopped all in the 70s, and they never went back to it again.
MK Ultra files were misfiled and found during a government investigation of the CIA. And in 1976, President Ford issued an executive order that prohibited experimenting with drugs on humans without their consent. But, you know, weird that we have to have an order for that. You know, it's like, oh, we'll pass a bill so this doesn't happen again. Why were you doing that in the first place, you f***ing creeps? And while some MK Ultra, experimentation people were scarred for life, there's some, like, big hitters on this list that turned out to be part of MK Ultra. Whether it was a positive experience or not, there's still no doubt that it would change you. For one, we had Ken Kesey, the author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who had such a great time during his MK Ultra experiments that he would host the iconic acid test in San Francisco that turned a generation onto LSD. So he was into it. He was...
Wait, what? The creator of the person who wrote that story?
Apparently he was a hippie.
Huh.
Thrilled to go through that experience.
That was a good
Some
movie.
people are made for LSD. I'll say that. If I ever took an hallucinogenic, I would completely freak out and make my friends call the hospital. But some people take...
What would you do if you were on LSD?
Oh, I don't know what it would do to me.
It's a hallucination. You would see shit that wasn't there. I see you freaking out when you think you saw bugs.
Oh, I hope it wouldn't be something like that. It'd probably be...
Don't ever take meth, because you get a sensation of bugs crawling underneath your skin.
I'm already having a hard time with this fucking heat rash going on.
Really kindly to it. And then you have Robert Hunter, the Grateful Dead lyricist, who wrote the lyrics like, "Your rain falls like crazy fingers." So yeah, that checks out. That dude loved acid. And then there was like mob boss Whitey Bulger, the guy from where I'm from, Massachusetts, who was like, you know, the Irish mob, who was a gigantic piece of shit. He was part of MK Ultra too. He was dosed with LSD 50 times while volunteering for experiments in prison. He murdered 11 people. And most disturbingly, out of all of them, was Charles Manson. You know, the guy who's like, "I'm a bum, I'm a wino." Yeah, you ever seen that? Put up the interview he does where he does that.
I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine.
This cult leader used many of the same tactics as MK Ultra, keeping his members on the steady dose of LSD while manipulating them sexually.
Random theory, do you think he might have been originally part of the military or government stuff? How did he get all this ideas?
What do you guys know about that? I've heard that from years, that you always get a sensation of bugs underneath your skin.
Wait, is that what he's asking about, how we know about that?
Oh, no, $10.
Hasty George super chatted $7.29. MK Ultra is still considered a myth and is often labeled as tinfoil hat conspiracy, even though official research documents came to light by accident.
Want to do another moment?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, this, there's a lot of stuff out there that, I don't know. I don't even know anymore. What is real? What is reality? Am I even here?
And while it isn't proven, author Tom O'Neill's book Chaos makes a case Manson being involved in the projects, and I think it's pretty obvious that he actually was part of MK Ultra. But allegedly, although f him, it's the CIA. What are they gonna do? Sue me? And drugs weren't the only questionable experiments going on during the Cold War. Science in general had a very disturbing think outside of the box vibe. It's obvious that these world leaders were willing to do whatever they could to get an edge over the competition. From using Nazi innovations to torturing their own citizens. But just like the
German technology is the best in all the world.
You're not wrong, because that's how long this shit started.
space race, some of the most imaginative scientist efforts came from the Cold War, involved hellish treatments of animals. MK Ultra, for instance, wasn't only about humans. The CIA was using animals with mind control for some reason. Declassified documents from 1967 show that the US government successfully created a type of mind control in dogs. By electrically stimulating their brains, scientists were able to control their movements by hijacking their reward centers. They achieved this
This could have been the setting of Plague Dogs, actually.
by embedding an electrode into a mound of dental cement and then implanting that in a dog's skull and running connections past the dog.
Yeah, I remember one of the dogs had something like that. This was probably the time duty-do for Plague Dogs.
Shoulder blades. But once again, what are you gonna get at making it training you could just train a dog.
Yeah!
Why are you moving it with electrodes? And the dog can only be controlled within 600 feet, but by hitting buttons, you can make the dog come back, run in a circle, and make it stop. So, whatever, you had a remote-controlled dog. According to government records,
And now we've gotten to the point where we're making tiny little AI brains.
I wonder if he's going to talk about the cat that they put a radio receiver in.
Oh.
6 of these mind-controlled dogs were created, but never were really fully used in the field. And they ran into a bunch of issues while testing this technology, namely, infections was a big one. Also wounds that the dogs suffered from having a wad of cement implanted in their brains, which, overall would hurt efficiency. It would compromise efficiency when their dog brain is swelling. And not to be outdone, the Soviets were doing some weird shit with dogs too. Soviet scientist Vladimir Demikov was a pioneer in organ transplants. He was one of the first guys to do like an organ transplant, a heart transplant, lung transplant, liver transplant. But because this was the Cold War, he was also responsible for another truly unhinged first, the first head transplant. Demikov
Oh, God.
What the fuck?
started working on head transplants in 1954, performing the surgery over 20 times. And this was hardly top secret work. Demikov saw this as like the next big step in transplant surgery. It was so out in the open that in 1954, Time magazine traveled to Russia to capture the 24th attempt at creating a two-headed dog. They documented the process, which by that time has been done so many.
What fucking, but fluid bark shit is going on here?
Yeah, exactly!
Pasty George super chatted $7.29. What is real? How do you define real? If you are talking about what you can see, touch, hear, taste, and smell, then real is just electrical signals interpreted by your brain, Morpheus.
Ah, the Matrix.
Oh, the more.
This is... Damn it. It's so true, Joestar, so true. Thank you again. At this point, I swear you're going to end up just giving us $100 if you keep going. And I'm just going to sit here and moan my head off.
times in a row that it only took 3 hours to get it done. Both dog heads could hear, see, smell, and swallow,
It
but
looks
they
like
didn't share
Finny!
No, they put a
stomach. Whatever the
Pomeranian
transplanted had drank flowed onto the floor. You might be
floor.
wondering what the point of all this was, and that's a very good question. Even though Demikov early animal transplants paved the way for modern-day organ transplants, there isn't really any good reason for a head transplant. It had no practical medical application whatsoever. And also, it was practically a death sentence for both of the dogs involved. The longest any of these two-headed dogs would live was 29 days. Whatever Demikov's motivations were for this horrific experimentation, it inspired the future work of American scientist Dr. Robert White. But in true
Nope. Your name is Dr. Hogback.
Dr. Mangler, more likely.
No. Come on.
Oh, from Phil Bar.
Yeah, you pointed that out earlier. Their name is
US
Dr.
fashion,
Hogback.
we used monkeys instead of dogs. Starting in 1970, Dr. White would perform head transplants on over 30 monkeys. And once again, to no scientific benefit did that happen. No reason to do that at all. We learned nothing from these experiments. But hey, two-headed monkey. Though dogs and monkeys were the animal heroes of the Cold War, the US got cats involved with Project Acoustic Kitty.
No!
It sounds
Oh, this
Oh,
one.
is this what you were talking about?
Yes.
No,
like a
Kitty!
feline-friendly folk band, but at the end of the day, they were just trying to turn cats into spies, which is interesting. The idea came to agents in 1960 while noticing the feral cats
kitties.
were roaming around unnoticed by government officials during secret meetings. By leveraging the constant presence of cats with their natural curiosity, the CIA developed a plan. They would implant transmitters into cats' necks. And they would train them so they could go near government officials and they could spy in on what people were saying. Or in the crude words of a US officer,
On the bright side, that doesn't sound as bad as transplanting a fucking second head on you.
they
All I know
split
is
the cats
it-
open, put batteries in him, and wired him up. But sadly,
What?
The CIA quickly found out the cats don't do what you want. They couldn't give two about what you tell it to do. And as a cat
Wouldn't a stray dog been a better choice at that point?
owner,
And yeah,
I can
cats
confidently
can do what
say
you
that
want,
the cat at my feet
depending.
right now is an absolute nightmare. Isn't that right, Abby? Yeah, you're a piece of shit. The cats would wander off whenever they got hungry.
Right,
And hey,
broccoli.
you know what?
Oh, $6 million cat to the rescue.
Cats are always hungry. So they added another wire in the cat that would override the cat's hunger. And finally, the CIA was ready to deploy their covert cat spy operation in the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C. They released the cat from an unmarked van outside of the embassy. And before it even get going, it got hit by a taxi and died.
I don't even know how this ended.
Well, there goes $6 million.
So, plan over. The project was ditched in 1967, costing 20 million taxpayer dollars. So, glad we got that through. But that
Never mind. It wasn't $6 million. It was $20 million.
In 1960 money.
It was probably $1 billion at that point.
We need some Doge on this.
Ooh.
$20 million was truly just a drop in the bucket. There is no official number, but estimates of Cold War spending easily amounts to trillions dedicated to bombs, drugs, blasting animals into space, and fighting other countries' wars. The end of the 4-decade
Hey, instead of doing weird, unethical, dangerous, and stupid shit, how about maybe use that money to, I don't know, take care of the citizens? Maybe end world hunger, homelessness, stuff like that would be nice.
But that shit's gay. We can't do that.
conflict was just as murky as its beginnings. For many, it was the fall of the Berlin Wall that signaled the end of this conflict. The Berlin Wall was built in 1961, becoming a physical manifestation of the ideological divide between the East and West. When the citizens of East and West Germany descended upon the wall on November 9th, 1989, they brought picks and axes to literally tear it down. A month later, the US and USSR would verbally declare the war.
Question.
What?
What was the point of the Berlin Wall?
It would separate East and West Germany because at the time it was illegal for an East German to go to the West. Kind of like how North Korea and South Korea is divided. It's the same way.
Huh. Why is that a thing that's happens?
But if you made it into West Germany, you technically become a West German citizen. Till the country was reunited after the Cold War.
Huh. Interesting.
Over at the Malta summit, but we already knew that happened. It was the equivalent of your parents telling you they were going to get a divorce when you've been seeing the writing on the wall for at least 4 years. USSR officially disbanded on December 26, 1991, and as the Iron Curtain fell, the German rock Scorpions took the stage. Their 1991 single, Wind of Change, served as a soundtrack to Germany's reunification. Also, conspiracy theorists believe
quick bang explosion that a lot better about the Berlin Wall.
That the song was written by the CIA
Explain.
to help
Oh,
unify
explain.
the two sides. I
Explains.
think that's a little far-fetched, but it's fun to talk about. And even though these rumors have been thoroughly debunked, it honestly isn't any crazier than sex spies or two-headed dogs. The legacy of the Cold War is complicated, but it left Russia and America with 5,000 warheads each. So while the immediate threat is gone, the cool breeze of the Cold War haunts geopolitical policy to this day, in events like Russia invading Ukraine or Elon Musk proposing we nuke Mars. Most leaders and politicians are opportunists who...
Wait. Elon Musk seriously proposed to nuke Mars? Is that a thing? Is that really a
take
thing?
fear to
Maybe.
consolidate power. It's a tale of
wouldn't
this
be put
time.
past
So maybe
them.
instead of risking
But why?
countless lives to settle our ideological differences, we just need to fully embrace sports diplomacy and turn the Olympics into a violent bloodshed that everyone knows we are...
No. This is what needs to be done. The Olympics needs to change. We're getting to the point where everyone's starting to make robots, okay? Every nation needs to make one big super robot that a pilot can go inside and have a tournament with these robots. And whoever wins gets to be king of the world for that time. And hence the
Gundam.
plot of G Gundam.
taking this very seriously. New videos every Saturday and every other Wednesday. Like, comment, and subscribe. And subscribe to Extra Tug while you're at it. $4 a month. You get a new video. Now you get to see the
We
videos
need the
a
plot of
day
G
earlier, right
Gundam.
before they come out. You get to vote on the videos we're going to do later.
All right, well, that was that. That was a great video to react to.
God, that was long as fuck, though.
Thank you for joining us. Bye. What's next?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I want anime.
Oh, yeah, I
Bitch.
forgot about that.
Oh, fuck
Now,
you.
the spring of 2025.
Yay!
Hey, do a quick break, because I got...
PP time.
Yeah.
It does. Be right back. Hi. I'm your goddess Nesca here with Trackerman. We are reacting to...
Summer Anime 2025.
Yeah, it says spring there, but that's just talking about something else.
It was probably the most packed season for anime in the last couple of years, because we had some pretty great shows returning, spin-offs, as well as...
Okay, I must say, I am current in Windbreakers now, at least the English dub, and I am really enjoying the show. I went through the whole... Oh, $10 back. Yeah.
Pasty George super chatted $7.29.
Canadian
The most
dollars.
famous animal experiments were the two-headed animal and head detachment experiment. The last one involved keeping a dog's head alive for 6 months while it was detached from its body.
Yay!
Well, I really when I separate these videos, that's gonna be out of the blue.
Oh yeah, if you weren't watching the stream, that's gonna sound very random.
Want to do another moan for them?
new content. It was filled with epic seasons of Fire Force Season 3.
I can leave it.
I am not gonna try Fire Force again. Not even the second season.
It is trying way too hard to be the next Naruto, I swear.
Or just, I don't know, there's just something with Fire Force, I just don't care. It is not making me care about its characters and its story.
Lazarus, Witch Watch, Windbreak.
Okay, I watched the first episode of Lazarus. I probably should continue it, that was kind of interesting.
Check this one out at some
I haven't
point.
seen Witch Watch. Current with Windbreaker Season 2, at least English dub. Liking where it's going, it's interesting. What else?
For Season 2, T-Bait. And...
Don't know it.
Wait, T-Bait? Who the hell put that in here? Anyways, now that the season is coming to an end, can the upcoming season match the standard as well? Well, it looks like spring of 2025 was just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay. Well, I was about to say that. I know of, I think it's 3 shows, even though my brain's completely dying on one of them. But I'm looking forward to Dan to Dan, Season 2. And I'm looking forward to, Rising of the Shield Hero, I saw was also coming about.
Season 4. I'm curious where they're going with
I'm
it.
really
Anything 2025
curious
was
if they can
us
fix
eating
them.
good. Then summer of 2025 is a literal feast. It has more anime than the number of times your crush has.
Oh yeah, 100 Girlfriends is coming back.
No, it's just that was last season.
Ah, okay.
Do you want a date? Oh, wait a minute, that's 0. Anyways, without further delay, let's jump into the most anticipated upcoming anime of the summer.
I don't know. I was losing interest in Dress Me Up Darling after the end of the first season. I do not know where the second season can go to pique my interest again. I guess to see
2025.
Mirren in cute
So
outfits.
at first we have Watari's Double X is on the brink of collapse. Now,
And?
I didn't notice it until now, but damn, there are a lot of rom-coms coming up this season. So Watari seems like a regular high school guy until you realize his emotions are boiling beneath the surface, and his carefully controlled life is cracking. This romantic drama explores themes of repression, emotional pressure, and the struggle to communicate genuine feelings. So it's a school romance that focuses less on idealism and more on emotional honesty, and the mess that comes with it. And I'm not sure, but I think there will be some cheeky stuff in this anime, so...
Pervy stuff? Or...
Unless the pervy stuff's worth it, it's a pass.
It's just some kind of weird romance anime. It's not moistening my jimmies, you know?
Yeah.
If you are a die-hard rom-com lover and want to watch something fun but emotional at the same time, give this one a try when it comes out. Then we have Apocalypse Bringer Managra. What if the villain of the strategy game woke up in its world with his evil civilization and...
Hey! Okay. So it's okay. It's taking some Overlord inspiration here. Except the world's evil and the new guy's good.
Tact. That's the premise of this anime, where a terminally ill boy reincarnates as the leader of a dark, plague-ridden empire. Rather than play hero, he embraces his monstrous kingdom, but with a surprisingly thoughtful, pragmatic approach. So,
Nope. You're totally ripping off Overlord at this point.
Yeah.
I vote ripping off Overlord.
I'll give it a first episode try, but...
First
the story
episode
is
try,
decent,
but...
and the manga was really good, with great-looking panels and fun characters. but the animation from what I saw in the trailer does not do the manga any justice. I won't say it's on the same level as Blue Lock or Uzumaki, but it wasn't anything notable. So if you're having a boring afternoon, might just give it a try. Then we have the anime that will become the greatest of all time, Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 4. So the biggest
never seen the
schmuck,
first three.
Kazuya's chaotic love life reaches new highs and lows. In Season 4, as his fake dating scheme with Chizuru collides with increasingly real feelings and emotional fallout, with the film project wrapping up and new romantic contenders
Too crazy for romance animes. Like, it has to, I don't know, it has to have something to really hook me. Otherwise, it's just...
Like Yurusei Yatsuri.
Yeah, like Yurusei Yatsuri. That was a romantic comedy, though.
Yeah, true.
I'm trying to think of a romance anime I really, really like. Kisame Kiss, I really liked. Of course, that has like...
Diabolical Lovers.
No, that one's just a guilty pleasure. It's not really like that. No. Don't say Diabolical.
still in play.
Don't say that.
Expect drama, jealousy,
Dances
and
with
heartbreak
Devils,
as the
though.
series edges closer to resolving its central relationship. While the show remains packed with rom-com antics, this season aims for more emotional depth, and I call cap. The only thing you're getting is fan service.
Oh, wait. Here's a romance anime that you and I both like. The 100 Girlfriends.
Oh, yeah, that's also a comedy.
Again, oh yeah, you're right. I think all romance animes we have interest in together has to be a comedy too. Wait. How about
Damn, Pasty George.
Pasty George super chatted $7.29. Uzumaki. Junji Ito is like Stephen King.
I loved... Ooh, actually you're right. Uzumaki is kind of a dark romance.
Uzumaki.
Junji Ito, we just got finished watching that.
Oh, yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
The quality kind of went down after the first episode.
Yeah, they blew the budge on the first episode. Mom.
But it was still really good. Especially the ending, when it was really cute because the two main characters are like, we can't fight this anymore. We might as well just give up. And they just spiral into each other, and it was so romantic and junk.
If you stuck with it this far, expect a payoff. Alongside the usual mess, it's still frustrating and funny and makes me want to throw myself into the Pacific Ocean, because if anybody actually watches Rent-a, you make me angry. You make me sick. Then on next we have A Couple of Cuckoos Season 2.
The
Identity swap rom-com returns, doubling down on love triangles, awkward family dynamics, and the tangled mess of arranged
Why is there so much romance anime now? Is that the new thing?
I guess. Well, we gotta take a break from the fucking isekais.
relationships. Nagi and Erika's unconventional cohabitation continues to develop a mid-school drama. Rival suitors and shifting romantic loyalties. Season 2 explores deeper
Wow, it's like I
emotions,
haven't seen
moral
this
misunderstandings, and the looming question of who Nagi truly wants to be with. Expect the same mix of comedy, light drama, and romantic
Inuyasha, Kagome! Inuyasha, Kagome!
indecision. Only with higher stakes and more time spent on each girl's backstory. So if you haven't watched the first season yet and want to watch some harem stuff where there is some actual depth into the plot and the girls for once aren't complete lollies, this show is actually a pretty decent anime to watch.
Now, okay, I'm gonna say it here. Best harem anime, Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah.
That's best anime,
Next up, we've
harem
got
anime for
Togen
me.
Anki. Now, I'm really looking forward to
Ooh.
this one, but I wouldn't say I'm excited about this anime. It's more like I'm curious about this one.
Ooh.
Set in a world where
Okay.
humans descend from demons and centuries-old blood feud rages, Togen Anki follows Shiki, a hot-headed teen who discovers he's a part of a legendary demonic bloodline. When his powers awaken after a family tragedy, Shiki is thrust into a brutal conflict between opposing factions. Expect intense combat, intricate lore, and a morally gray world where enemies aren't always what they seem.
Okay. This is reminding me of two animes crossed over. The first one is, something blue. Blue Exorcist. Okay, it's reminding me of Blue Exorcist fused with Dead Man Wonderland.
Ah.
That's the vibes I'm getting.
With strong shonen energy and stylish, blood-fueled action, this anime leans into themes of vengeance, identity, and inner demons. literally. So I hope you get what I
could
meant
go
by
for that.
curious, because I want to see how this show executes the story. It might
could
be
go
just
for
another
that.
generic shonen anime, or it might just be one of the hidden gems of the season. And after that, we have the White
Oh
Mage who's
God.
Hey, what the fuck is this title? The White Mage who has vanished from the hero's party and is picked up by an S-rank adventurer.
We're not doing anachronisms at this point.
Hey, I can make a smaller title for that. Redo of Healer.
from the hero's party and is picked up by an S-rank adventurer.
Damn, yeah.
So here we got the seasonal fantasy anime with a high school essay-like title, per usual, and that everyone will forget after a couple weeks. So after being unjustly kicked out of the hero's party, a kind-hearted white mage is rescued by a powerful adventurer who sees her true worth. This fantasy series leans into healing, both literally and emotionally.
It
As
is
the White
redo
Mage
of Healer.
I know, that's why I made that joke.
confidence, companionship, and a second chance at adventure.
But
Expect
literally,
wholesome
Redo of Healer would be a good shortened version of that title, because that was pretty much what that title was kind of saying.
dynamics, soft romance, and cozy yet capable storytelling that focuses more on recovery than revenge. While it includes action and magic, the core appeal is its emotional warmth and character bonding. As it looks, this anime just wants to be a refreshing watch, so don't expect it to be groundbreaking. If you are planning to watch it, close your brain and just enjoy it during a boring evening. Then we got Tsuyo Kute, New Saga. Now I'm gonna call it right away, I've got mixed feelings about this one. So in a world ravaged by demonic forces, Warrior
More
Kale
demons.
finally defeats the Demon King, only to be sent back in time just before the war began. Armed with future knowledge and hardened experience, he sets out to rewrite destiny and prevent the apocalypse.
I have seen an anime that had this exact same
Redo
plot.
of Healer.
Not even that. I can't even tell you what the name of the anime I saw that's in this exact same plot. But yeah, no, this is familiar.
I don't know about you, but that sounds really interesting. And the animation looks pretty decent as well. But from the trailer we got, the execution was kinda off-putting. I hope it's just a trailer, but even though the animation looks decent, it still feels just like another seasonal fantasy anime. Nothing
Yeah, like I said, I feel like I watched an anime that had that exact same plot, and I can't even remember the title. Yeah, pass.
stands out. And even the fight scenes look just above average. I think shows like Freerun and Delicious in Dungeon have kind of spoiled me, because this show looks really good when you compare it with the crap called The Beginning After the End. But anyway, the plot looks fun, and I will definitely be giving it a try. And let me know if you will too. After that, we have The Rising of the Shield Hero
Hey! Okay. Can this anime dig itself out of the hole it put itself in after the second season? I have the DVD of Tenchi Muyo, Ryokui, one of the movie, and the video. Damn, Naisu! You're as old as us.
Now, I really want this anime to get back on its feet.
Me
'Cause the third
too!
season was actually pretty decent. But the
Yeah.
amount of damage that crap-like second season did was
Yes! Oh my god! He knows what that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, first season of Rising of Shield Hero, amazing. Second season, dog shit. Third season,
Mid.
Can you bring yourself back, or are you gonna go second season trash again?
just so bad that forget about bad. That was a phenomenal job in itself. Like it was on par.
You know who I
with the
blame
second
for this-
season of The Promised Neverland.
Oh god, don't bring that up. No. Those are in two different classes, boy. Those are in two different classes. The Promised Neverland Season 2 was bad because it was rushed.
It prematurely ejaculated in your ass and left.
The second season of Rising of the Shield Hero was just... It didn't know what the fuck it was doing. Two different scenarios there, baby.
We would just cut the second season out of Resident Evil and go into that.
And go into the third season, yeah.
Can we just do that?
Well, let's pretend it never happened. Just like the Promised Neverland Season 2. Because that was... The Season 2 of Promised Neverland was just disappointing. How the fuck do you end an anime on a fucking clip show? I've never seen the manga, but I knew that ending was dog shit.
That's an accomplishment. Just not the accomplishment anyone really wants. Anyway, season 4 continues Naofumi's journey in a hostile parallel world where
yeah, they
he
got the dragon.
alone wields the shield. The most offensive and least flashy of the 4 cardinal weapons. This time, expect more world building as Naofumi ventures into unfamiliar regions, faces new enemies, and unravels
Second season
deeper
ruined
secrets
Shield
about the
Hero for
waves
me.
threatening.
I know, right? God, the second season was dog shit. I do. Okay, the third season brought it back for me when they introduced Nadia here. I love her. She's cool. I like her. The second season, the reason I fucking really hate it is because of fucking green-haired bitch. I'm not going to even bother learning her
And I
name.
believe we can finally hope for some character evolution and a steady mix of action and drama. Up
think
next
it could
is
get better.
I was reincarnated
Oh,
as the
God.
7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability season 2. Season 2? How the hell did a show
Oh.
named like a...
I actually know this one. I've actually watched this one.
Is it any good?
It's okay.
third grade paragraph become popular? Oh, jokes aside, the anime is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's just very sus. The magic takes center stage again as Lloyd, the overpowered and magic-obsessed prince, continues his carefree yet
It's basically kind of similar to Jobless Reincarnation, except we spend more time with the main character being a child.
Ah.
And I don't know, it's one of those, the main character's so overpowered, but you kind of like how he's overpowered because how he uses his overpoweredness, and he's also royal and stuff. I don't know, I enjoyed this anime. This anime was a decent watch. At least high C tier. Just something to put in the background. Not something to write home on, but I don't hate it.
ambitious journey to master the arcane arts. Season 2 promises more world exploration, unique spell mechanics, and absurd levels of
looks
magical
good.
dominance. Unlike
It
many isekai
sucks, though.
leads, Lloyd isn't in it for power or heroism. He just wants to...
Yeah, it's really fun. Main character here, he's like so fucking powerful, but he doesn't care about any of that shit. All he cares about is basically just learning new magics. He's really enthusiastic about that and junk. And he's like so innocent and pure. It's kind of cute. And then he has this crazy ass maid who's way too obsessed with him. Oh yeah, it's also kind of harem-esque. It has some harem elements, even for tiny child boy. Okay, it's kind of, yeah. Never
Learn
mind.
and
Moving on.
experiment. That detached motivation leads to hilarious situations and jaw-dropping displays of magical skill. Expect lighthearted pacing, impressive animation, and an unapologetically
Oh
overpowered
no, his
protagonist.
harem's gonna grow.
It's comfort food for fantasy fans who love genius characters doing what they love.
Yeah,
Without the
yeah.
usual isekai baggage.
Yeah.
And we got the Water Magician. The anime is set in a world where elemental magic shapes society. This show follows a gifted sorcerer with mastery over water-based spells, navigating political tension, magical duels, and
Waterbender.
ancient secrets tied to its power. Though details are still emerging, the anime
Bubble,
promises
bubble.
a blend of poetic world building and high-stakes conflict, with water's beauty and brutality mirrored in the protagonist's journey. The trailers don't really do much, but it did enough to give this show a chance, because it actually looks really good. And I really hope the anime ends up just as good.
I might try that one. Let's see, next is Secrets of the Silent Witch.
Next up, we have Secrets of the Silent Witch. Right, so this one actually looks great. Monica is known as the Silent Witch, a powerful mage who's feared across the continent. But in reality, she's painfully shy and anxious in social settings. Tasked with a secret mission to protect a royal student at a prestigious academy, Monica must overcome her fear of people while hiding her magical prowess. This anime promises a unique blend of slice of life, school intrigue, and fantasy. Centered on a relatable and lovable introvert, and the trailer looks great. The OSTs sound great. And the animation is pretty decent. And the
Oh, the
dragons
cat's
don't look
pretty,
fake.
though.
And
The
hopefully
animation
this
does look
won't end up
pretty.
like just another seasonal fantasy. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. And we got
Give it a
Night of the
try.
Living Cat. Now this is a nice one. When was the last time you wondered what if there was a cat apocalypse? The show looks so absurd, so weird that it actually looks
It's a horror comedy. Okay, I'm definitely watching it. I love fucking horror comedies. Record of Ragnarok is getting a C. Oh, cool!
That's like a guilty pleasure anime. For
I love fucking Record of Ragnarok. I don't care. Dude, I gotta tell you something. Okay. Season 2 of Record of Ragnarok, Hercules versus Jack the Ripper. the character Hercules is voiced by none other than Sephiroth! I learned that and I was like, okay, I love this anime even more now.
Good. So, in a hilarious twist on the zombie apocalypse genre, Night of the Living Cat imagines a world where humanity is overrun, not by the undead, but by irresistibly cute cats. A single touch turns people into cat-obsessed shells of their former selves. The protagonist, one of the last unconverted, must avoid feline contact while navigating this adorably dangerous...
Now, I want to watch this. This looks good. I want to watch it. Where you get your horror from, I don't know. All I can see is cuteness.
Like this?
New world. Expect absurd humor, clever parodies of survival tropes, and non-stop cat
They taken over
antics.
by the cats,
It's weird,
even though the CG
witty,
cats are kind of
and wildly original.
Oh wow, he got turned into a cat.
Huh.
That is, I mean, this is a very original idea. I want to see this one.
A must-watch for cat lovers and people who want to watch an
Meow,
absurd
meow, meow,
parody,
meow, meow, meow,
which
meow,
doesn't
meow,
take
meow,
itself
meow,
seriously.
meow, meow, meow,
Then
meow.
we've got detectives these days are crazy. Now this show looks freaking hilarious. This over-the-top mystery action series follows a pair of detectives solving bizarre crimes with even more bizarre methods. One's a genius with a screw loose, the other plays straight man. But both are constantly questioning with logic, danger, and each other. It's a buddy cop anime on steroids, mixing clever deduction with chaotic comedy and stylish flair. And forget everything else, this anime looks hilarious.
Okay, that's the only thing I got from this is this show looks like it's going to be funny and weird. What do you think?
Yeah.
Would you go for funny, weird anime?
Yeah, I give it. It'd be a first episode try.
It looks like they took inspiration from Grand Blue, one of the animes that just almost killed me. How? It made me laugh a lot. And the fact that this anime has the same style of humor, it's enough to make me watch it until the end. And talking about Grand Blue, we have Grand Blue Dreaming
What the fuck?
Season 2.
Can you show that much ass on YouTube and be fine?
Baby?
I'm gonna pause it.
Yes, 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 I can finally rest in peace.
I don't know what this anime is, but I'm looking it up
is
later.
back for more booze-fueled chaos and skin-bearing absurdity. Season 2 of Grand Blue Dreaming picks up with the main character and
I'm
his
looking this
misfit
up
friends
later.
engaging in the same
Grand Blue.
mix of
I need to look
college
this up
shenanigans,
later.
explosive humor, and occasionally heartfelt moments about friendship and growing up. While the actual diving scenes are beautifully animated and genuinely calming, most of the screen time will still be dedicated to beer, brawls, misunderstandings, and public nudity.
Okay, no,
If
this
you
sounds
enjoy
awesome.
over-the-top humor, wild
Grand
facial
Blue,
expressions,
Grand
and the
Blue, I need to
clash
remember
between
this.
irresponsible youth and real adult responsibility,
I wanna watch
this season
this.
promises more unfiltered
I was gone for 5 minutes.
fun and wild storytelling. So if you still haven't watched this anime yet, do me a favor and give it a try. You'll experience the most funniest
Grand
moments of
Blue.
your life in a matter
I'm gonna look this
of
up. Grand
hours.
Blue. Grand Blue.
And next
Grand
we have
Blue.
Cluvitus, the king of devil beasts. Now this one has potential. So this anime puts a monstrous twist on the fantasy genre by centering the story on a powerful, intelligent beast who once reigned over all. Now awakened after centuries, Cluvitus finds a world changed, and humans stronger and more organized than ever. Rather than follow a hero's rise, this series explores the return of a former apex predator grappling with obsolescence, revenge, and evolution.
I
And
want
from
to
the
see
trailer,
this.
it
This looks
looks
good.
great. The character
This looks
designs,
cool.
the action, the animation, all of this
Give me a Pokeball. I want this Pokemon, damn it.
looks pretty awesome. And it looks like it has the potential of becoming one of the better animes of this season. I just hope it lives up to
I'm
its
liking.
hype and doesn't end up as just another fantasy show that no one cares about. And after that, we've got Hell Teacher Nube. Wow, I'm surprised that I am actually somewhat excited about this one. It's a reboot of the 90s cult classic Hell Teacher Nube, which returns with a modern polish. Nube is an exorcist and teacher who protects his students from supernatural threats, ranging from haunted objects to vengeful spirits. And the biggest reason I'm looking
This one looks good too. What do you think?
Yeah, it's worth a try.
Especially because I feel like old, I guess, manga getting revamped. Like, use old ideas, you know? No one
Yeah.
could come up with new shit. Why not use old stuff that's never... I don't know if this ever had an anime before or not, but this looks interesting.
Forward to this anime is how well they executed this anime. From just the trailer, you can feel that this was not given a proper budget and resources to make. But still, the makers gave it their all. They stuck to the original 90s art style and how it looks in the trailers.
Cool.
They handled the fight scenes really well. This is the type of effort I wanted from
Hey,
Seo
I want to go. I'll go back to that '90s art style. I love that. This will not be in Texas, sadly.
Oh,
I want to know if that's true, because that's hurting me. That can't be true. There's too many anime stores out there, anime conventions. They can't do that.
my mind, half the anime industry in the West is based out of Texas.
Yeah, the fucking Funimation and stuff, voice actors and junk. There's a whole Texas studio of anime voice actors and shit there. No way. I don't believe that.
Because even with not the best animation ever, it looks impactful and looks like
What do
this
you mean?
2020
I think it had some really nice looking animation. I love that old 90s animation.
5 version aims to retain its nostalgic charms while upgrading
I like
visuals
it.
and
I
deepening
like
the
it.
emotional arcs. It's creepy, campy,
I like creepy.
and
I
often
like campy.
heartfelt. So
That
I
looks
won't
cool.
be surprised if it actually becomes the true gem of the season.
Yeah.
Then we have Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus.
What?
I really miss this.
Oh,
Yep.
that.
3
I never
movies
saw the
were
first
released
one.
after
What
season
is it?
1, but I
Senpai
feel
anime.
like the gap was never really filled with those. Because each movie felt like a 3-episode arc, rather than an actual impactful movie. And finally, the makers of the Rascal Does Not Dream series returns with another emotionally layered supernatural mystery.
But
In this
why?
installment, Sakuta faces a new case of adolescent syndrome, linked to a mysterious figure resembling Santa Claus. Blending holiday
Okay.
themes with psychological and emotional depth, the story dives into unresolved feelings, grief, and the strange way time and memory warps through pain. As always, expect a grounded exploration of teen emotion wrapped in a sci-fi metaphor and slow burn drama. With its soft melancholy, smart dialogue, and quiet power, this chapter continues the series' tradition of meaningful storytelling that resonates far beyond its quirky premise. Then we have
I'm not really vibing with that
Yeah.
one. Let's see. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity. That is interesting fucking title.
The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. So if you are a rom-com anime lover, like me,
No.
get yourself prepared, because this time you are definitely going to end up with type 1 diabetes. This romantic drama centers on the unexpected connection between two seemingly opposite high school students, a reserved, academically driven boy and a sophisticated, strong-willed girl from a prestigious all-girls school. Their paths
Okay.
cross, sparking a tender yet complicated relationship that challenges their assumptions about class, identity, and emotional vulnerability. Expect an elegant visual storytelling, slow burning character development, and heartfelt moments as the two leads navigate the delicate balances between personal growth and romantic discovery. With its grounded tone and emphasis on dignity, this series promises a thoughtful and emotionally rich take on adolescence romance. So if you love Blue Box, you'll definitely enjoy this as well. And I'm gonna stop eating sweets for the next couple of months because this show is gonna balance it up.
I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
Oh, Sato Days Part 2. Why
Oh,
not?
Sakamoto.
Didn't we finish Part 1?
I don't know. To be honest,
And next up is Sakamoto Days Part 2.
to be honest, this anime here just I wasn't too into it, you know?
Background anime.
A background anime for me. I mean, I don't mind watching it, but I don't really care to invest in it.
Now,
You know, it'd be funny if she was a girl boss.
know there
Oh,
were a lot of mixed reviews with the first part of Season 1, but
Yeah,
I
we
kinda
finished
liked
that
it.
because I remember
yeah, it was a
Ah,
huge
yeah.
downgrade in comparison to the manga, but I believe that the anime still managed to capture the overall vibes of the source material. So in the upcoming season, the legendary assassin turned store owner continues his oddly wholesome yet action-packed life. In Part 2, Sakamoto's quiet days managing a convenience store are constantly disrupted by eccentric killers from its past, each determined to take him
Yeah.
down. But beneath his dad bod disguise lies a deadly skill set and sharp instincts. This season
I
promises
won't
more
mind
elaborate
having it
fights,
as background.
choreography, creative weapon use, and surprisingly heartfelt moments.
Okay, that was kind of cool. Fucking chainsaw wielding, maid goth wedding dress look.
As Sakamoto protects his family and values. Expect a balance of slapstick comedy, stylish
going
violence,
after the
and
wife, though.
surprising depth. It's Cowboy Bebop meets Slice of Life, where absurdity and heart coexist in every brawl. And talking about Cowboy Bebop, I'm really enjoying Lazarus, but we'll talk more about it in another video. Next is Dr. Stone's...
Yes! Yes! Yes!
You're right, it did have a second season.
Oh, hi, Yoshika! Good morning, world! Yes!
Future Part 2.
Gimme!
Our yearly dose of science and fan service is back, baby. So science and ambition continue to collide as Senku and the Kingdom of Science push deeper into the unknown. Part 2 of Science Future explores the aftermath of reaching the moon and the secrets left behind by the mysterious petrification event. Expect high-concept science turned into a thrilling adventure, with inventions that stretch the imagination but stay grounded in real-world principles. The stakes are global, and the mission is clear.
So
Rebuild
there.
civilization and unlock the truth of humanity's downfall. Which
I can't wait to hear their new opening and ending. I swear I love Dr. Stone's openings and endings are so good.
sharp humor, clever
sorry.
writing, and cleverly placed fan service,
Yes.
this season keeps delivering bold ideas and explosive revelations
So
with
good.
every episode. And next we have Call of the Night Season 2.
I need to finish the first one.
Yeah. We checked out. I mean, okay, we haven't watched it in a long time. I think you can get over how the dub sounds now, because I don't even remember how the sub sounds anymore.
Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone going to the USA. He's already there, boy. He's
They're
going to the moon. We're already in America. We're going to the moon.
After they launch some monkeys into space, then they'll...
If you could describe this anime in one word, it would be the word vibe itself. Cause each frame of season 1 was nothing less than a complete aesthetic feel. So back under the moonlight, the main character's nocturnal adventures continue as he further explores the mysterious vampire world and his feelings for Nazuna.
Yeah, I think we need to try watching this one again. The opening and ending is really good. I love fucking Creepy Nuts.
Oh, yeah.
They have
Season
the
2
best
deepens the romance
music.
and introduces new vampire...
Wait, I want to make a rant real quick. Well, no, I wait until he's going to show it later. So I'll wait for my rant.
Shifting the tone slightly darker while keeping its moody, dreamy aesthetic. Expect more introspection,
The colors
jazzy
are so
late-night
beautiful,
vibes,
though.
and questions about what it truly means to fall in love and to become something other than human. Stylish, aesthetic, and melancholic with a rebellious streak. After that, we have Gachiakuta. In a society that casts its criminals into a massive garbage abyss, Gachiakuta follows Rudo, a falsely accused boy who is thrown into this trash-ridden underworld, and there he discovers a bizarre world filled with mutated creatures, weaponized junk, and mysterious...
Again, this is feeling like fucking Dead Man Wonderland. Why not just bring back Dead Man Wonderland? I want to see that anime come back. Someone
powers
pick it
known
up.
as Jinky. With revenge burning in his heart and newfound allies by his side, Rudo fights for survival and truth. And this anime wasn't on my list to watch before, but they released
That
a
looks
trailer
good.
a couple months ago, and goddamn was it good.
I'm gonna
It
try
went from
that.
an anime I would never watch to one of my most anticipated anime of 2025. Expect intense battles, striking graffiti-inspired art, and
Damn, that looks
gritty
so
world
good.
building. It's a fast-paced, high-stakes shonen with themes of justice, class division, and personal redemption. Perfect for
I'm
fans
there.
of dark, stylish action series with an
I
edge.
wanna see that.
Then
That
we
looks
have
good.
The Summer Hikaru Died, and this is one of the shows that I'm really looking forward to as well.
Why?
I've heard great things regarding the manga, and the trailer looks really good as well. So in this
Psychological horror.
eerie, rural supernatural thriller, two close friends, Yoshiki and Hikaru, begin to drift apart when Hikaru starts acting off. As strange phenomena unfold, Yoshiki
What?
realizes that the person he
Nope. This looks like some Junji Ito stuff.
I
I'm
was about
there.
to say that.
I'm there. I'm watching this. This looks good. You give me some weird body horror shit. Gimme.
They were the MK Ultra.
Gimme.
once knew may no longer be human. This haunting story blends psychological horror, quiet melancholy, and a creeping sense of dread with emotional depth and...
You know what this is vibing me? You know what this is making me vibe?
I know the anime you're talking about, my brain.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Paranoia Agent.
Actually, I was going to say something else.
Or Paprika.
Not Paprika.
Perfect Blue.
Not perfect.
Anything that creator
What was
made.
that one anime we watched a few years ago? Shiki.
Oh, Shiki? Yeah, I'm getting Shiki too.
Questions about identity, grief,
But no, this
and
is making,
companionship.
because it's a psychological, it's making me think of those animes.
I don't know about you, but I'm really getting mixed vibes of both Summertime Rendering and Erased.
Oh, yes, yeah, I agree with Summertime Rendering. Not sure about, do we? I don't think we ever watched
I
Erased.
never have.
Not about jump scares. It's a slow, emotionally resonant unraveling. Expect intimate character work.
No, this is giving me more Paranoia Agent and Junji Ito vibes.
Unsettling imagery, and a deepening
Damn,
mystery that
that's
lingers
cool.
long after the episode ends. Ideal for fans of Paranoia Agent or Shiki.
Damn!
We've
Yes! See, brain, it's the same.
Yep.
finally have My Dress Up Darling Season 2. Finally. Yes, my fellow degenerates,
willing to
the
give it a
wait is
chance
finally
too,
over.
but,
So lock your door and get ready with your phone and tissues.
I feel like it's been gone for too long, and like I said, the ending of season 1, I was checking out.
Yeah.
I was losing interest, but I'll try it for background purposes, but I'm not too crazy for it.
All right, I was kidding. Calm down there. Calm down. So Gojo and Marin return in this highly anticipated follow-up. Expect more cosplay
Pookie.
creativity, deeper emotional beats, and
Pookie.
escalating romantic tension as Marin's
I'll go eat me some
modeling
Pookie after
ambitions
this.
and Gojo's craftsmanship
strawberry flavor.
evolve. The season picks up where the
Bunny.
first left off, blending slice of life moments with the behind-the-scenes stuff. Blending slice of life moments with the behind-the-scenes world of cosplay culture. If you love the comedy, characters, and obviously the cultured stuff, this season
bun.
promises to double down on both. Lighthearted and sweet, with just enough drama and fan service to keep things engaging. And next up, we have Kaiju number 872.
Yes! Want! Yes! Kaiju number 8 was so good. I seen hell rise out of your eyes, creep up the night to your demise. We gotta fight, you gotta fight. I'm thinking
One of the better shonen anime that came out in recent years. Personally, apart from the messed up character designs,
Yes.
this show was almost flawless.
This was getting
And
really
with the recent
good.
trailer, I think season 2 might just surpass season 1 in terms of quality. So
Ooh.
following the main character's struggle to hide his monstrous alter
How
ego,
your opening
season
gonna
2
be, though?
deepens the conflicts between humanity and kaiju. Expect larger battles, stronger enemies, and the main character wrestling with the implications of being both a protector and a potential threat. The Defense Force takes a more central role, with team dynamics and personal stakes intensifying. The
Looking
season
forward to
promises
that.
thrilling action and emotional reveals and deeper world building. So if you still haven't watched this anime yet, you are really missing out on some great stuff.
Did you ever watch that with me at all?
Yes, I watched it with you.
You did? Okay.
Oh.
Here's where I was going to say. Okay. I've seen the trailer already for Dan to Dan Season 2. I have to say, I'm disappointed in the new opening. I'm sorry. Disappointed in it. It cannot hold a candle to the Creepy Nuts amazing opening. I swear, every opening Creepy Nuts has ever done, whether it be Call of the Night, Magic Muscles, Mashal, and Dan to Dan, their openings are just so fire and so iconic. I'm just not there for the opening for season 2. That's my one gripe so far.
And finally, we have Dan to Dan, Season 2. This was probably the biggest anime of 2024, and
I'm so
rightfully
there for it.
Now, this anime is about a guy who loses his balls, and I'm not talking about any type of sports, so, yeah, that's the plot. So jokes aside, the anime was really fun to watch. The comedy was great, and the characters were awesome, especially the granny. And the animation had more frames than Uzumaki, Blue Lock, and T-Bait combined. Season 2 continues the wild supernatural roller coaster as our two main...
The end of season 1 left off at such a traumatic cliffhanger.
It left on the ugly bastard hentai.
Exactly.
That's what it ended on.
Each face new bizarre entities. This series balances psychic powers, alien encounters, and fast-paced action with ridiculous humor. And sometimes, crap like episode 7 of the first season shows up, and I still can't believe what the saddest
fucking anime episode ever. I have never seen something so sad in my life that, well, actually, no, I'll take that back. It still doesn't beat the dying grunty for me, because that's just always going to break my heart no matter what. But this was just depressing.
Emotional masterpiece was doing in this show. Expect strange body transformations, high-stakes battles, and an odd but endearing romantic subplot.
And don't forget sexual humor!
With even weirder foes ahead, the show expands its paranormal lore and character
Dude, the new main bad guy, it looks like, he's basically naked guy in his underwear.
Oh,
dynamics.
God.
It's quirky, chaotic, and never boring. Perfect for fans of high-energy supernatural anime with a slightly unhinged edge.
And perfect
That's the
stuff!
list for today, guys. If you were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment.
Oh yeah, I am looking forward. I got so many animes I'm looking forward to this season. I got Dan, Kaiju, Dr. Stone. I want to see Rising of the Shield Hero. There's a bunch of new stuff in there that caught my eye. Yes, let's go. Thank you for joining us for this video. Bye. What's next?
We might as well talk about this since everybody else is.
Okie dokie. What are we talking about? Hi, I'm your goddess Nesca. Here with Trucker Man. We are reacting to...
It's a Gundam talking about Hassan Piker probably getting attacked by the ADL and the FBI.
Oh. So wait, is Nux right? Is he 1000% cooked?
He's getting there.
Is he overdone?
Let the streets soak in their red capitalist bloods, dude.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Ethan.
But they are a terrorist.
Did that look like a pop of meat?
Yeah.
Out of here.
Get him out of here!
It's a Gundam. He's just a piece of crap.
Sometimes content creation is funny.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been yourself.
She won't respect him.
Other times it's so stupid the quote, "You will live to see man-made horrors beyond imagination" comes to mind. Then there are the Hassan Piker moments. The worst political commentator on the internet.
Unless you want to frolic through his chest hairs and forget all...
By the way, ever since Tectone said this, I cannot unsee it. Look how small his head is compared to his body. He needs to work his shoulders out more.
You mean less?
Trouble, which is fan base and media outlets.
He needs to work his face out more.
Liberals are drooling over very handsome terror.
He is not handsome. He is oddly proportioned. He's ugly. He is ugly.
Terror cheering
Leftist Hassan Piker after fawning New York Times profile.
Ew.
Liberals are fawning over a popular left-wing streamer.
No, he ugly.
To be fair, I think he's like 45 too.
He old ugly.
I can't say that they're in... Oh, Jesus. How does he say that on YouTube and not get in any trouble?
And once said America deserved 9/11 after the New York...
He got big ears. His old beard mustache shit there looks just disgusting. And his hair looks weird and like cauliflower-like.
Times pinned an obsequious profile about him. Hassan Piker, 33, boasts 2.8 million followers
33.
on live streaming
What?
platform Twitch, many of them under 30 and male.
New York Post, what is this?
Under 30 and male.
A little bit. They probably got AI doing that.
Which props him up as the left's answer to podcasting megastar Joe Rogan. The great lady
What a stupid time to be alive.
Yep.
also breathlessly
It's
touts
perfect
Piker's
time.
bro
Look at your-
bona fides like
What?
Look at
weightlifting.
your VT.
Oh, it looks like I'm actually saying that. Cute.
Basketball.
I did say it though,
with
so it
writer
works.
Jack Crosby calling him very handsome.
God, talk about gay.
Oh, he's so delicious. He's absolutely scrumptious. I can eat him all up, especially when he says that the Jews are the root of all evil. Delicious.
Be right back.
He's not funny at all.
Democrats are obsessed with finding the new Joe Rogan, while ignoring the fact that it took Joe Rogan's podcast a minimum of 20 years to get to where it is today.
Wow.
They always want...
Yeah, Joe Rogan was like one of the first. He's been doing it for years.
Huh.
instant solutions for problems that take decades to iron out. Typical. And you might be saying to yourself, whoa, whoa, whoa! The New York Times did a fluff piece on this dude? Okay, I'm gonna break it down for you and keep it real short. Ethan Klein at H3H3 put out the content nuke on Piker, waking up a few more normies to the Pikester. So, I assume his management team sprang into action and paid for a few fluff piece articles to combat the content nuke that pretty much shows you who Hassan Piker is unfiltered. And it would take Ethan Klein to know because he worked with the dude for a while. And usually when it comes to liberals, they will ignore any sort of problematic stuff about someone as long as they're on the same side. But
yeah, that's really scummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The literal second they fall.
Did you break it?
Everybody's at each other's throats. It's like the gay Game of Thrones. I'm throwing punches. Keep up with me. Now, here's a few more puff pieces for you.
Polygon, Twitch's Hassan Piker, wants fellow leftists to know having fun isn't bourgeoisie decadence.
Yeah, I know, right? You show up to like a protest wearing $2,000 clothes and you're...
Actually, it's more like $3,000. Like, this is a $3,000 worth of clothes.
How?
The little label on it.
Your $250,000 Porsche. Nothing says revolution like
the
capitalism.
car. Who's afraid of Hassan Piker? He's outspoken, liberal, he's hot.
Hassan.
He's not hot.
So hot right now. Hassan.
Young men actually listen to him. Is he the answer the Democrats have been looking for?
The young men that listen to him have such low testosterone that they usually go down the trans-maxing pipeline.
Oh, shish. Stop him!
If you are remotely rational and you're not wrapped up in foreign conflicts or believing that America is at the root of all evil in the world, then this dude does not appeal to you in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, that's us. I'm rational.
Yeah.
You're rational?
I'm pretty rational.
If you're not terminally online, taking a fistful of prescription medications for your myriad of mental health issues and emotional problems, you'll think he's a total jackass.
And it takes
He
one
is
to
a total
know one,
jackass.
because I'm a jackass. So as the black kids say, I'm keeping it 100 with you.
I'm not going to do another video covering all of Hassan's wild takes because I'm not looking to be here for hours, looking for clips and then editing them and not wanting to
neck myself. I wonder, can I say that on YouTube?
But I want you to understand.
So basically, I'm not sure what else he's gonna say. Then he basically said all he wanted to say is this Hassan Piker guy is just a what's the word I want to use?
Piece of crap.
Tool.
Yep.
From the bottom of my heart, social media is as corrupt as any other industry of power, without a shadow of a doubt. There are the winners and the losers, and usually the winners are chosen from the left side of the field. You can't be anywhere near the center. And Hassan Piker...
The winners are chosen who says the most outlandish things because they're the easiest
Keep
to
in mind,
control.
he got a one-day ban for threatening a U.S. senator. Kirsha got a one-day ban for reading...
Potato.
Hi there.
Hi, welcome. Oh, I like your name, King Triforcer. Yeah.
She got banned for the same amount for just reading a fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Is among the, and I quote, anointed ones.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's all a joke.
This dude has said and done things that would get anyone else banned for life.
And also he said things that would get normal people sent to jail.
Yeah.
Last
one of these.
Sorry.
You suck. Last I recall, criminal threat can get your buns put in prison. I know this from some experience from other people.
Yeah.
Social media platforms, especially with the reach he has. Some of the crap he said is as whacked out as Alex Jones.
Aside, right?
Sure.
But he is a person whose only experience is like, it's literally like talking to Anne Frank, basically.
He's talking about a terrorist.
Oh, yeah.
But which one is on YouTube and Twitch and which one can never be on those platforms? Think about it.
Left-wing streamer walks back comments about bubbling Republican
They're making fun of his
senator
head.
after Twitch suspension.
God, he's
Hassan
so
Piker banned on
weird-looking.
Twitch after calling for the hypothetical death of GOP Senator
because
If I say it out loud, the algorithm will think I'm doing something.
Now, I want you to keep in mind, when he did this, it took days of people tagging Twitch on X and other social media platforms covering this news.
Yes, I got banned for 2 weeks for simply calling Frogan a fat piece of shit. I'm not sorry, to be honest, and I stand by what I said. However, going forward, I'll do my best not to bring up her again, as me being bringing her up only brings her into electricity.
Show more.
For Twitch to do anything, and when they did, they banned him for a single day. If you say that there are only 2 genders on Twitch, you'll be gone for 7 days minimum. Keep in mind, Leafy got banned from YouTube for life for pissing off Pokimane. I got blacklisted. Then YouTube implemented some new bullying regulations that made no sense because I was the one who had people come to his house. But whatever. I got what I deserved. I was a dude.
Thank God. Good riddance to...
You know what's really disgusting?
What?
Saying words like this, the people are considering bullying when back in the past no one knew what actual real bullying was or paid attention to it.
Yeah.
Bad rubbish.
And now everything is so
I said
sensitive.
half the stuff that Hassan Piker has said on stream and anyone paid attention and platformed it, Google would have not only deleted my YouTube channel, they probably would have deleted my email account to go with it. So when Twitter saw this, they pointed out the hypocrisy in droves. I'm only going to grab 1 or 2 tweets. Nobody wants to hear me read these all day.
Kershey got banned because she's edgy. Hassan Piker
Hey.
supports U.S. designated terrorist.
But they are terrorists.
Wait, got banned for being edgy.
She read a fan fiction.
That's edgy?
Apparently.
Like they're designated. They are designated by the American state as a terrorist organization.
I do not like them then.
Well, I mean, we also called Nelson Mandela a terrorist until 2008.
You get the hell out!
Tells his audience to bubble senators. Calls all his critics...
I can't even say...
Calls all his critics snuggle struggle...
Snuggle struggle.
The wordplay.
PDFs. Uses
I hate that you can't use words! This is bullshit!
You're having a stroke over there?
Yes. Well, why can't
He's
we
like
use
Cartman
words
from
anymore?
South Park, but he just has so much more impunity.
You should have respected my authority.
Really?
Ethan Klein reacts live to his 30-day Twitch ban for playing Hassan Piker's content on loop.
My God!
Excuse me?
Yeah.
The irony!
He played Hassan's clips on loop.
No, I want to know, what did they say the ban was for? I want to know.
Threatening. Here.
For encouraging or glorifying extreme violence.
Excuse me? Then why hasn't Hassan been banned when he's the one who was saying those things in the first place?
That's Hassan's content that's on your platform that he didn't get in trouble for.
Oh,
Forgot
maybe
about that.
Angemon.
They also appealed it and they were denied. But enough stink happened on Twitter/X, whatever, to the point of where Twitch couldn't ignore it. After Hassan Piker's 1-day ban, he put out a heartfelt video saying, I got canceled. Wow.
Fuck you.
Suspended
You deserve
for
it.
1 effing day. And this dude runs and makes an I'm a canceled video. Oh
Pussy.
my God. Oh my God. I didn't make $30,000 yesterday. Oh no. They're trying to take my living.
Shoes!
Now, what did he
$1,200 for those shoes?
And they were
Oh,
hideous!
that's right. Twitch streamer Hassan Piker has been banned from Twitch after urging his audience to bubble Republican senators. Oh my God. Recently, the egomaniac has been on a wannabe revolutionary kick where he parades around on stage at Coachella while someone waves a Palpatine flag to corpo-funded hip-hop punk rap music. I'm not even joking.
Is that true?
Nothing
Yeah.
says freedom fighter like private jets to Coachella yearly and try.
What concert did he go to that was okay?
Coachella.
Who the fuck's Coachella?
Something we're not part of.
Awesome.
trotting around on stage, fist pumping your hand.
They are a pair of Irish nationalistic artists that make hip-hop, punk, EDM music. They sing
No, not the Irish. No.
Explains Jacksepticeye.
No, I'm
rap in
9%
English or
Irish.
Saw them live once in the Netherlands. Their music was okay, but not rememberable. It was mostly them screaming the lyrics and trying to hype up the crowd to get them to
Ugh.
mosh. The mosh was a little weak, but it was fun. Between sets, they kept talking about Palpatine and made the crowd
Why?
scream, "Free, free Palpatine," every chance
Why?
they got. All in all, they were fine as
Wait, what is Palpatine?
It's another replacement word for Palestine. Gun's probably more
Oh.
scared than we are.
Because the only thing I hear when they say Palpatine, oh, he's saying Palpatine.
Yeah.
Oh, like I'm just
artists,
thinking
but
of
they
Star
came
Wars the
across
whole
as
time.
posers, in my opinion. Coachella, overhyped, overpriced corporate event. It reminds me of Katy Perry going to space for feminism, owned by a very conservative billionaire who donated
It
a
is
lot
the
of his
same
profits
energy.
to the right-wing groups.
Let's not forget when he did some public speaking at a rally or something.
That's how much that cost.
1,144.44
And these really
Why so
weird
many
oversized
fours?
clothes.
I don't know.
That the internet quickly found.
I'm gonna make a prediction here. All those fours in Japan, 4 is supposed to be the number of the deathy.
Found out
Those 4
what
fours.
the jacket was. Oh, the jacket itself was $1,500. Lord have mercy! I
That
thought
is
that was
not
the
a
whole
lucky
outfit.
number.
Jesus Christ, Hassan! I can't even be mad at this point, to be real with you, because it's so ridiculous that it's incredibly funny, like a Dylan segment that you didn't ask for.
Women want to be her.
What
men
is
want
that?
To be with her.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan Mulvaney.
What
true
the
definition
fuck?
Of beauty and grace.
Where's my drink?
I have a theory.
What?
I think that person's actually an alien.
Oh, probably. I'm not going to deny that.
That's my conspiracy theory of the day.
Hassan had a debate with Ethan Klein soon after all of this crap, and it went about as well as you'd expect from this dude.
You big.
Terrorized the
You are
Palestinians,
so out of your
and
mind.
then Iraqis.
Dude, you
cannot
screaming and
point to
grandstanding
Iraqis
doesn't
or
mean you're
Iraqi
right.
government's
This is pathetic.
racism during the
Okay.
pan-Arabic nationalist.
Stu, could you make this funnier, please? Stu?
Uh-oh, chair react.
That we have.
I'm not gonna let you chair react to me, buddy. You grab that
What?
Dr. Pepper. I'll wait.
God.
No, I said.
Someone get Meat Cannon on this ASAP. He needs to make an animation. I need to see
I'm
that. That
listening
would
to
be
you.
awesome.
Don't worry. I was just grabbing another soda. Go ahead.
I could see Meat Cannon
Recently, our
doing that
little
so
campaign
good.
Socials that could larped online about being detained at customs. Something many people who travel from outside of the United States into the country have dealt with. But when it happens to Hassan, it's targeted harassment. Left-wing streamer Hassan Piker says he was detained and asked, "Do you like Donald Trump at Chicago's O'Hare Airport?" He has this whole video talking about it. I'm gonna do you the favor and not play it.
That sounded like the dumbest thing ever.
He's making that up. When he came in back into the customs, they pulled him aside and did some couple extra questions to send him on his way.
Huh.
Which is not uncommon if you fly in and out of the States enough times.
Let me just get to the point already. Recently, another in a long line of unfortunate and miserable events that has unfolded in the last 5 years, bringing us ever closer to a world war, has happened. 2 Israel ambassador staffers were shot dead outside of DC's Capitol Jewish Museum. The suspect shouted, "Free Palpatine," as he was being arrested, law enforcement officials said. Wow. Immediately when this news hit Hassan...
Oh, so is this what's going on?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, he's officially... Okay, is this official that the government's going after him because he is, what's the word?
Well,
advocating for violence with... And
He
that
doesn't-
was someone who was, like, a supporter of his and junk?
That is theoretically...
That's theoretical?
That's theoretical.
Piker was linked to it by Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL. He called out Hassan Piker by name on CNN.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hassan Piker, who regularly employs
Don't call him a gamer.
awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish...
No. That's disgusting. Don't call him a gamer. The best you can call him is a streamer. Does he even
people
play
in the Jewish
games?
state.
He hasn't played
Like,
games since
extremists
Assassin's Creed
should
Shadows,
not
'cause he was
be
paid for
empowered.
that.
People who spout prejudice should not be platformed.
He probably glazed it too, huh?
Well, he got paid $10,000 twice.
Damn.
This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Get back, I do not condemn the elimination of those two Zionist officials who worked at the Israeli embassy last night, and here's why. Israel has live streamed a genocide.
Yeah, bro, it's not a matter of if Hassan's BS is gonna get us all new censorship laws or rules. It's a matter of when. Jesus Christ.
Now, if this was...
You think we're gonna get Adpocalypse 3.0?
Twitch has already gotten an apocalypse.
Yay, we're all doomed.
Hey, being linked to some sort of shenanigans on this global scale, I wouldn't reply. I'd lay low a little bit, but not Hassan Piker.
Israel is an apartheid state doing a live stream, oh boy, Bako Bits. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous acts. Jews. The Apartheid Defense League doesn't because they think they can improve Israel's standings by silencing its critics. It won't change the truth.
With that, the proverbial shit started hitting the fan.
So, okay, I also want to point out, I don't think I included this, but as soon as the attack happened, Hassan wiped his entire Discord history.
Yeah, that happened.
And so, in a sense, him doing that already was kind of setting off red flags that this might be kind of his fault.
By the way, I'm going to say this. When Gundam made this video, Hassan got another ban for 24 hours on his day off.
Wow, that's convenient.
3 separate times over the last 36 hours, Hassan Piker deleted his entire Discord. Unfortunately for Hassan, the entire Discord history was archived by some Jewish guy and then put up on a website called like hatred.net or something like that.
My God.
As examples of vile anti-Semitic hatred. And they're all combing through it and finding the most disturbing examples of extremism for the hit piece that's sure to come.
Two Israel embassy staffers were executed in D.C. today. Just 2 days ago, Hassan Piker hosted a 20,000-person live stream with Bad Empanada, a guy who has reportedly urged his audience to go out and bubble.
Oy vey.
Hassan Piker this week. Bad Empanada and I don't disagree on our ultimate goals. We just disagree on methods. Bad Empanada. Americans, if you want to stop them, take action. They have names and addresses. It's so easy to get it.
Sheesh. Okay, was that guy just saying what he was saying, or was he advocating for that?
No, he was just rereading this guy's words.
Ooh, so another
should
one.
preach it that these people are ultimately useless, and you're gonna have to do shit yourself.
You don't drive up to people in your Lamborghini, splash them with mud. When they go, "What'd you do that for?" You go, "I'm speaking truth to power."
This isn't good for any of us. The fact that the dude from the ADL called out Hassan and labeled him a gamer will be a lightning rod for Republicans who like to blame all of America's gun issues on gaming rather than...
No! They hate those kind of people.
Yeah, it's...
You sit there and blame everything on games, but that's not the problem.
Sorry, call something up.
You're dying over there.
But yeah, they were trying to blame... We're all going to get... Something's going to happen again. We're all going to get... They're going to do a wide net because one person has already made his millions. Instead of just getting rid of the one
and
person
the affordability of the American
I
dream
know,
that we've all
right?
been cheated out of.
So it's the whole, the one person ruins it for everyone kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Some will say gun laws, but frankly, growing up in poor neighborhoods, I assure you, criminals doing crimes were not dissuaded by the stringent New York laws.
Yes.
This could all lead to blankets.
God, that is the stupidest thing anywhere. Sitting there, okay, we're going to ban video games. People who are, want to play video games and still be bad people, and so they're still going to get their video games no matter what. Banning guns, that's dumb. The people who want to use the guns for bad stuff, they don't care if they get it legal. You're just taking guns away from the people that can use it to defend themselves.
Don't make sense.
It doesn't make
Root
sense.
for any edgy post,
Nothing makes
any
sense.
edgy content, comment, video, live stream, etc. We are already under so much scrutiny when it comes to just talking online these days. And due to Twitch's favoritism and sheer stupidity of not ranking.
You can't even have opinions anymore. You can't even just like say something, and even if it's wrong, and just if someone says, hey, you're wrong and this is why you're wrong, okay, tell me why I'm wrong. But don't sit there and be like, you can't say anything.
In Hassan Piker for the millionth times they should have. This idiot is now indirectly implicated due to his wacky far-left political beliefs that he touts from the highest mountains possible. The fact that they didn't wring him by his neck when he somehow killed the Twitch gravy train blows my mind. Hassan Piker did in 1 year what Twitch thoughts couldn't do in 10. Needless to say, instead of laying low...
Oh wait, keep asking, this is Frogan.
Or maybe taking a vacation till the heat is off of you, you know, to pause and reflect. Hassan does what he always does.
Hassan Piker, star of Amazon's Twitch.
Let's play it.
Incident like this. You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just a one dude who...
Flip the roles and you see how quickly they get banned.
...is genuine in his actions and...
This is me right now.
Oh my god! Stop!
Yes.
The guy was genuine in his actions. Like, bro, what? Hassan, what? Of all the things to say. But to be real, forget it. It's on brand. This is on brand for Hassan Piker. Add this one to the mini clips in the long list that only Patreons and maybe YouTube members will see.
Still remember to cut this crap out.
Hassan tells his audience to lock in and stop Fed posting. His own community is trying to get this dude thrown behind bars.
If new censorship rules get put in place on YouTube and Twitch and so on because of this idiot, I'm gonna throw this man off the Golden Gate Bridge myself.
God. Me too, Gundam, me too. Because we just started. We're gonna lose it all from just starting. Well, anyway, that was this video. Thank you all for joining us. I love you all. Mwah. Kisses. Bye. See you on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and thank you, Joe, Pasty George or Joe Star for donating.
I call him Joe Star. He gets the star treatment.
All right. I think Kirsten might be still alive. Let's see if we can raid into her.
Right into Kirsty? No? Yes? No?
See if she's still alive. Yep, she's still alive.
Damn, that girl goes forever.
Yeah.
Good on her.
All right.